Hello, I'm Geoff.
And is it true you were in the army? I've heard that.
Yeah, it's been said. Yeah, I try not to talk about it, but yeah, that's true.
I'm Ross.
And I'm in focus.
Yay!
Hopefully.
Hello, in focus.
Hello.
So what happened? Like, I was gone for what, 2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah.
And you were out of focus.
Oh, and Bella.
Oh, and Bella's here as well.
Hello,
Yay!
Yeah, 2 weeks. You were out of focus. What's going off, guys?
We're just a mess without you.
Yeah.
Basically, is it? That's it.
I think the there you go. You can kind of see her in my camera a little bit. I think the technical term is called shitting the bed. Yeah.
Right, can we confirm?
Yeah.
So now we're in focus.
Yeah.
Do we know what we're talking about, and have we now got a clue?
No.
No,
Perfect.
no.
Let's get on with the
Should we
business.
pretend we have?
As usual.
That's what we do.
Okay, right. Well,
Yes.
if we're gonna pretend that we know what we're talking about, I'm gonna talk in this episode about Games Workshop owing me a data slate,
Okay.
which I sort of feel like I paid a reasonable amount of money for this data slate in a roundabout sort of way. And I'd like to talk about my first 3 hours of using an airbrush.
You got that far.
From the tone of voice, it sounds like it went very well.
It went great. And also, as I wouldn't mind having a little bit of a chirp about the Christmas boxes as well.
Absolutely, yeah. We've got a bunch of topics that I have written down on a phone.
Wow.
Professional and stuff now. I'm probably going to talk 3D printing at some point, but I do want to talk about Games Workshop's best product release ever.
Ooh, colour me excited.
If anyone can guess what that is, pop it in the comments.
What have you got for us, fella?
Not a lot.
I'm in charge of the buttons. Don't expect me to have subjects.
I can't multitask.
He's like little Alex Horn. He's here for admin.
Yeah. No, like, you guys are the personalities, and I am the
Wouldn't
leech.
ever go that far.
I would say that all of us we definitely have personalities.
Yes.
Some for the better, some for the worse, but we've all got one.
Let's don't know about you guys. I'm feeling proper wintry.
It is a bit chillier in here now.
Well, I've got my check shirt on.
I turned the lights on earlier because I was like, I'll let it warm up. Like, we do have heating, but I just haven't turned it on yet.
Have you guys started feeling that Christmas spirit yet? Like that coming? And I say
No,
Christmas
not yet.
spirit, it's like when you walk into the shops the day after Halloween and all the decorations are up.
Yeah.
It's like I like the day after Christmas when Easter starts. That's my favourite.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think
Boxing Day,
I saw
cream egg.
Yeah. It literally
Boxing
is
Day,
that
cream
bad,
egg.
isn't it? Yeah.
That's my favourite time of Christmas.
My girlfriend, bless her, absolutely loves seasonal food. So as soon as it comes in to the supermarket, like, I think we've had mince pies in the house since the end of August.
I remember buying mince pies once from Sainsbury's that had a lovely little star on them, and it was like Christmas mince pies that had to the corner to be eaten by the 25th of November.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It's amazing. Like, all the Christmas food. Let's just do the
We'll be
food
out.
segment right now.
When you
Fuck
say,
Warhammer.
when you say like seasonal food, do you mean specifically this season, or is she eating eggs in spring and acorns in August?
No. So like, I say,
So is that not a pumpkin all the way through
not
October?
not as in seasonal. Like, oh, it's winter, we need to have all of our root vegetables and bloated soup. It's like your mince pies,
You commercialised.
cream eggs.
You mean you
Yes.
commercialised
She likes,
seasonal food?
yeah, she likes your Christmassy.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
And you know, maybe this is the controversial thing I'll talk about in this episode. Fucking
Right.
come
No.
at me.
Go on.
Is
Oh, he's got such an attitude.
I know.
He had a week off.
He's had enough. He's
It's-
done. He's
yeah,
like, you know,
I'm done.
Yeah.
I've said many times, I like having really strong opinions about stuff that just doesn't matter. So
and having no opinion about the
Yeah.
important stuff.
yeah, and well, because I think it all boils down to my low opinion of my own intelligence.
Yeah.
So say like,
No, it's accurate.
yeah.
Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Taskmaster.
No, I love it. This is the vibes, man. And we'd say like, I'm not really going to talk about politics, but I sort of like, I like talking to people that are opinionated about politics and like learning their opinions and trying to form my own and so on and so forth. And then like somebody asked me recently, I was like, oh, Elon Musk's a bit weird, isn't he? And then someone was like, why do you think he's a bit weird? And I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I hear little bits and pieces. It's like, I don't know why I think what I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm getting distracted. So, Christmas food, it's gone too far.
Hang on, before you go there, that is an interesting philosophical topic, because I noticed the other day, my son and my godson were playing in the front room, and then something came on the TV, or someone mentioned China, and my 8-year-old son went, I hate China. And I'm like, how, what in the media has indoctrinated, because it's got to be the media, I'm blaming the media for everything. What has indoctrinated you to having that opinion at 8 years old? Because the only other time you could ever have known China is all the people who send daddy free things with 3D printers. Yeah. And that's quite a positive experience.
And that helps keep a roof over your head.
It does. Yeah. Feed him and do all those things. And so I'm like, what, like, how is, but it's weird how you have an opinion of something without knowing why you have that opinion. Yeah. But I think that's everyone to a degree in certain topics.
Yeah. And I think probably because we're on like a public platform, you know, this is like the three of us in a room, and you can just go, oh yeah, I think this, and then someone will like go, you dickhead. Like, I'm quite happy to be like proven wrong or have my opinion changed. I think that's a good thing.
So like the opposite of Geoff.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Geoff's very well read, and like he's formed his opinion over an incredibly long life.
So I'd love to argue, but
So anyway, my controversial take. It seems that the new commercialised seasonal food is pigs in blankets in a mini Yorkshire pudding. I think that's too far.
No, that's pigs in blankets in a sleeping bag, surely.
Yeah. It's just,
what's too far about it? Is it like that the pig would be too hot, or would it?
It's just too much bedding.
Yeah. I think like
it's like when you go to bed at night and you're having to take all the throw pillows off. Before you can get to the normal pillows. Yeah.
It's the Yorkshire pudding is the girlfriend that just loves all of the additional pillows that you need to throw off.
So hang on, so you've got your sausage
sausage wrapped in bacon in a mini Yorkshire pudding.
No, I'd eat that.
Right, I would eat it, but I just struggle to know it like its place. So you could have it as a little canapé, but then I'm just like, I couldn't nail as many as I would normal pigs in blankets. Like, I'm an absolute fiend for them. So I'd be like, oh, I'm going to ruin my Christmas dinner.
And the problem I would have with
you wouldn't have them on a full Christmas dinner plate, because then why would you want loads of mini Yorkshire puddings when you just want like a normal big one?
And the problem being is I really like Yorkshire pudding, but I can't. Me and Yorkshire pudding have to have a relationship that involves gravy. Yeah. And I don't know whether a mini pigs in blanket with a Yorkshire pudding on, if you put it near gravy, it's just going to swamp it.
Yeah.
It's fraught. Fraught with issues.
Yeah. I
like the concept.
Yeah. But I'm going to stand with a banner outside of Tesco and try and rally people to my cause.
I love what's the timestamp? We're about 4 or 5 minutes in at this point. Make you think, because I'm going to swear.
I think it
nearly get demonetised if I say fuck this early. What the fuck has this got to do with Warhammer? Because already we're like, you know what?
Where's your data slate, Geoff?
Yeah, we're gonna we literally started this podcast with, I'm going to talk about it. It's the first time we've actually got a list of shit in weeks.
Packed straight into food. Right, well, I'm going to break it. Right, drag it back onto course if I have to by my fingernails.
Oh yes, bit of
Dragon Lodge number.
This episode is sponsored by?
It's not sponsored by, but in a roundabout sort of way it is. Dragon Lodge number 161. Some of you will have heard him mentioned. If you're like,
10061. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I show that I don't understand numbers. Thank you. Personally, you'll have heard mentioned on this channel, and you may even seen if you watched the Space Marine VR.
10,061.
All right.
I know. I was like,
leave it alone.
Can we have some more news going on? These guys really don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
I like the way we put a list together and it's just got worse.
Yeah.
Right.
So, Geoff's close-up. Here we go.
Yes, thank you. You'll have heard him mentioned on our show from time to time, and you may even seen him being Mr. Andrew Gibson, who has been a patron of our channel for a very, very long time, and even double patrons, which is why he gets the nickname. But he has now, Andy is a Freemason, and he's started his own lodge dedicated to wargaming. And it's going to be at the Freemasons Lodge, which is in Nottingham, which is on a place called Goldman Street. And are you just keeping that up all the time?
Yeah, because it's in Shotland.
Oh, that's really good of you. Thank you. So the lodge is going to be opening on the 25th of January, and that will be for Freemasons only. And then after that, they're going to be having meetings on the last Saturday of February, April, October, and November. And they'll be including lunches, and it will be open to non-Masons as well. Hello, Papa. So if you're interested, if you go to dragonlodge.org and fill in your details on that page, you'll be able to join what will be another nice gaming club in a very nice environment in the centre of Nottingham. So if you're interested and you're a Mason and you're a gamer, excellent. And if you're not a Mason, but you're a gamer and you're in Nottingham and you'd like to maybe have some lunch and do it in a really nice environment, Dragon Lodge.
It is open
Dragon
to everyone,
Lodge,
that's correct.
10061.
Yes, it is clearly up for interpretation what that number means.
Yes, but so
I've just got that. Right, I was trying to read that earlier because it's got a little dice in it. Can we get a close-up on the dice?
it's very clever, isn't it?
Yes. Can we get a close-up on the dice?
What?
On your camera?
Oh, my
Your
camera.
Go.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Right, see, 10,061. But on the dice, it's got 10061. And I was looking at it earlier because it's a D20, and I was going, what is that? Oh, it's a 19 because it's upside down. But it's not. It's 10061. So
There we go.
Fantastic.
It's almost like Andy knew what he was doing.
is that their lodge number?
That will be their lodge number. Yeah, all the numbers for So they'll be doing role-playing games, board games, miniature wargaming, CCGs, and various other types of hobby within the world of gaming. So look them up if that's your bag.
Yeah, I'll stick
So
a
there
link
we
in the
go. I
description.
promised I would do that for Andy, and he's much deserving of because he's a really big supporter of the channel. So there we are. Thank you very much for putting that together for him, Mr. Gibson.
And we
to
met
talk
him.
about him.
We met him, didn't we?
We did, and those who watched the Space Marine VR episode will have seen Andy there.
Which was, I've got to say, that was hilarious. I watched it while I was on holiday and you uploaded it. And it's like, just, you walk in, you're like, we're going to play this. And then you see the gameplay. Hi, Bella. You see the gameplay. And then it just cuts to us.
And like the feet scuffing and like one thing I noticed is like everybody scuffing their feet because like you look down, you can't see your own feet.
Yes.
So you're very much sort of like, right, I want to make sure that I'm in a safe and stable, secure platform. So you just like squeak, 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 tick, 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 squeak, squeak, squeak. Oh my God, for the Empress, squeak, squeak. It's great.
There's a couple of bits where like you're going up a ramp.
Yeah.
And those are the bits where your elevation changes.
Yeah.
And you're sort of like walking. I was hoping that I'd have got caught on camera somewhere, but I'm going to stand up. I was walking like Crichton out of Red Dwarf.
Yes.
Trying to do that to get up these.
Good fun, though.
Yeah, it was so good.
Incredible fun. Yeah, I want to go back. Yeah.
Right then.
Okay.
Dataslate, where is it?
Dataslate,
It'll probably be released this afternoon.
It probably will be because that's generally
that's
how
our
our
track
shows
record,
go.
isn't it?
Yes,
Good point.
I feel
Hang on,
a little
we
bit.
need to announce it. It's now the Geoff Winges part of the
Yes,
episode.
thank you. Yes, Dataslate. I went and rejoined yet again because I am a bit of a mug. I went back into Warhammer Plus.
Okay.
And I got myself the really, really nice Inquisitor miniature.
Yes.
Who, when he was announced on Warhammer Community,
Yep.
Warcom, if you like, was talked about how he had this unique servitor that fought using sound, and it was pointed out that the Inquisitor was armed with a pistol that he couldn't have when you were taken as a regular Inquisitor, as the regulative Inquisitor that you could have if you were using the Imperial Agents book.
So he's due some special rules, is he?
Yeah, that was August. Where are they?
Oh, I don't know.
Do you not get it with the model? Have you had your model yet?
Yes.
Right.
Got it, painted. Sitting there waiting for someone to give me some bloomin' rules for it. Nothing.
So are these, because I didn't know the commemorative miniatures were actually meant to be in the game?
Well, they normally, it hasn't been an issue because, like, if we take previous year, Cassican Sergeant.
You're saying names like I know what they mean again.
Cajun Special Forces Sergeant, we'll break it down to make it sound a little bit easier. They
Guard.
Imperial Guard.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I've got like a.
We've had one of them in the previous year.
Yes, we had a sergeant, which was based off a really nice piece of art by one of the Kapinski brothers. I can't remember which one, sadly.
Didn't they do the Matrix?
Yeah, that's them. Yeah. They did a really nice, an old piece of art, and they made a miniature for it.
The Wachowski brothers did the Matrix.
Sorry. Who are now the Wachowskis?
Sisters.
The Wachowskis.
Yeah,
Just
or the Wachowskis. Oh, okay.
I have no idea.
Yes. I knew there was something rattling around in there. I was like, it sounds right. Sorry, Jeff.
Okay, so they did the sergeant miniature. It was fine. There was already a sergeant miniature, just a different pose.
Right, okay.
Based on an existing piece of art. Then previous to that, they'd done a Korn Terminator based off a really old piece of art off the cover of a white dwarf.
First year?
No, it wasn't. But they did that. It was based off an old piece of art.
That was gorgeous. I love that.
It just counts as a normal Chaos Terminator, you know, especially if you're playing Korn.
Oh, okay,
So they've all, what I'm getting at, they've all previously generally related to miniatures or had pre-existing rules.
So who's this guy?
Well, this guy is an Inquisitor miniature.
Named character?
Yes, he has a name.
Oh.
Right? So, again, that should mean that, you know, they will deal with him. And especially because he's got a servitor, which is quite an unusual looking thing. It's got a speaker, where it should have a hand, it's got a speaker. All of that, and it was very much geared around. They were going, oh, well, we're releasing this guy. He's got a name. He's going to be cool. His miniature, his servitor will use a sonic weaponry. That was August. Still no rules for it.
Do you think they'll release rules for it?
Well, if you're going to talk about the fact that he does a certain thing, his servitor does a certain thing, and then he's armed with in a way that he can't really be armed with as a normal Inquisitor. If you'd have just gone commemorative Inquisitor or Warhammer Plus, you know, special miniature, but when you start talking about that, it does stuff, and you haven't released any rules for it.
You got excited for the stuff.
Well, I think anyone really would get excited for the stuff. If you're getting a miniature that comes with another one that looks unusual and has got as mentioned as having a unique skill set, you don't want to, you don't want to then start going, imagine he then turns up to a tournament and going, that guy's got none of the armament of another servitor, but I'm using him as a stand-in. People are like, well, no. And so then you go, well, what is his point if you're not going to give it any rules? And what if, and unlike me, because I just fall into that lazy thing of just going into Warhammer Plus every year and just letting it happen to me. But if you did it, if you signed up specifically because you are a mad keen fan on having inquisitorial agents and all the rest of it, and you signed up and went, I'm going to pull the trigger on 50 odd quid a year, and then you get this miniature and he's still, by this point in time, still hasn't got any rules.
Is he in the code? Is there an Imperial Agents Codex?
Yeah. Nobody likes it.
Right, okay.
Thanks for that quick jab of positivity there, Pat. But there's a codex, but he's not covered in it.
Right. We literally said before this show, let's be the happy show. Let's be the positive Warhammer show. So far, your input is not that.
So far, your input is out-of-date mince pies and just slagging off the Inquisitorial Agents Codex.
That's shit.
That's a great start. But so, realistically, but like I say, I'm a sucker for it. It just happens to me every year and I let it. But if you've gone into it specifically, because you went, I'm going to have that, a named agent. Yeah, where are they? And while we're at it, Games Workshop, who I've praised massively in the past for doing White Dwarf combat patrol lists.
Yeah.
Yes.
They did one where they did a infiltration sort of Space Marine one, which wasn't the one in the box. They did that. They did one for the NIDs.
Yeah.
And then they very nicely then added them to the Army Builder.
Right.
Which was really cool.
Yep.
It's been a few months, guys. Where's the one for the Crute? You did an episode dedicated to it, which was really, really nice of you. Where is it?
Oh, there was an actual...
The White Dwarf one for the Crute. I do understand that they might have a little bit of a problem is because they're now running 2 combat patrols for Tau because they've both been on the shelf at the same time, like the same with the Orcs.
Yeah.
But if you're going to print it and then you've done it previously for other ones, can you pull your finger out and can we have our Crute combat patrol list on my phone to make my life a bit easier? Thank you. So that's my initial whinge. I'll quite happily hand over to somebody and I'll come back to talking about airbrushing.
The bit, I'm excited for the airbrush. Where do I want to go? The bit I find interesting, because I do on the website do some coverage for the Combat Patrol magazine, although I'll be honest, I don't read the magazine. I literally buy it for the free models.
Yeah.
And then get them.
I've had 2 issues.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. I bought 3 issues. I bought one specifically to get Von Ryan's Leapers to hand over to my mate.
Yeah.
I bought the first one just because I thought I wouldn't mind having a stab at another Terminator captain.
Yeah.
And then I bought the issue that came with the unique Infernus Squad Sergeant.
Yeah.
Which is a really nice miniature.
And that's what a lot of people are doing. They're buying the individual. Like I've got the whole thing because if you subscribe to them, you get like the premium kits as well, and you get a Dreadnought. And I'm like, I want a Dreadnought, and I also want all these other models to build and paint. And I just want to like spray them and collect them, and I like to have lots of bits to play with.
Yeah.
And it's for £10 a week. Like for you're saving almost half sometimes on some models.
Some points it's Auspex Tactics did a recent episode about it, and in some of the cases it can be as high as a 75% saving.
Yeah. So
which is really good.
I need to go. Like, I've not had, like you guys know how busy I've been. I need to go through and actually do the math. I've been doing it for like UK, and you know, with the change of the website, it's so much harder now. Like I used to be able to just go on the website and go, right, it's that price, put that into a little box, change the locale, but most times now when I change the locale, it bumps me back to the home page, so I've got to search for the model again. Sometimes when you're doing it in German, different model names, so it's like, oh, this is such a
So go on, what were you going to say with regards to Combat Patrol?
In their Combat Patrols, so they've got the Combat Patrols that they're releasing. They're doing 8 of them across the series, and they're doing them in batches of 2. So right now we've got Space Marines and NIDS. So the Space Marine one is basically, I don't think it's the current, I think it's the old Space Marine Combat Patrol that they're releasing through the magazine. And then right at the end, they've tacked on a chaplain on bike.
Yeah, which doesn't
exist in the thing.
No, and it will imbalance it.
And that's my question is like, and I've asked them, I've said, will this be an official, like, can they take?
They're saying Combat Patrol, but I think they are making the right Combat Patrol for the Marines, because the right Combat Patrol does have a Terminator captain and it does have an Infernus
They're all the right Combat Patrol from the box sets.
But then the chaplain thrown on it.
But they've done that for every army. So there's a chaplain for them. There's another NID for the NIDs. There's be another one for the Space Marine, for the Chaos Marines, and all of those things together. It's like, hang on a minute. So if I've got the magazine Combat Patrol and I'm going up against somebody who's just bought the Space Marine Combat Patrol box set, I get an extra chaplain, but I don't know whether or not they've like potentially nerfed some of the rules of the magazine Combat Patrol to balance it out with the. I don't know, and also as well, some of them Combat Patrols are the old ones. Yes, that's what.
Which again, So again, you're going, well, there's now some of them now don't have any rules.
So do they not exist in the app then?
No.
Oh, okay. So it's very odd.
Yeah, it's a very odd system.
But great magazine, good way to get models cheap.
Cool.
Which is what most people are using it for.
And another way of getting great models cheap, I think we should move on to talking about Games Workshop's best released ever, according to us.
Next.
Well,
may as well.
Yeah,
I think it's a good,
I think
good
you talked
segue.
about it. I was gutted. Again, because I was on holiday last week, you briefly mentioned it.
So terrible being on holiday.
Yeah, and I hated it. I was, as you said, as I was watching it, sat drinking a pina colada. I think I sent you a photo.
You did,
and I was like, I am actually watching the show drinking a pina colada. It was brilliant. It was a hotel that I forget the name of, because I had a great time, and it was one of them where there was not much pina in the colada. Like, they actually had a sign up saying, we make the drinks the way we make them. If you would like us to make them with less alcohol, please let us know.
Yeah, hilarious. Yeah.
My wife had this because second week of October, half term, my wife took my youngest son to Sorrento in Italy.
Yeah.
And they were at an all-in, and my wife had to say, can you reduce the amount of alcohol in my drink, please, because I'm in charge of a 10-year-old who's in a pool, and I might be hammered if you carry on serving me drinks at this level of alcohol. So
it was weird. Like I felt like I was drinking a lot, but like it wasn't having an effect. So I think they were pouring a lot in to make it look, but they were like very weak versions of the alcohol, like that hadn't been distilled long enough. So it was like quite 0.2%.
Quite a lot of cocktails done cheaply. It's all like a pre-mixed thing, isn't it?
Yeah. No, these were like they were literally like upending bottles of vodka, and like we tried to try
just half vodka, half water.
Pretty much.
They're like, whoa, so much vodka. normal amount.
But we weren't getting drunk. And then one night, my missus had we had a bottle of wine, because you could just walk into the tavernas and the restaurants. You just walk in and help yourself to a bottle of wine out the wine fridge. So she just had a bottle of wine one night, or like I had a glass and she drank the rest. Absolutely hammered. I had to walk her to bed. So I was like, there you go, just lie down. Absolutely mental. So that was good. So whilst I was watching that, you talked about the thing that I wanted to talk about, because I did manage to get my hands on a copy from Warhammer, but couldn't review it in time because of said holiday.
Okay, yeah.
The one review I've actually wanted to write this year is for the new Kill Team starter set.
Yeah.
All
which
right.
is incredible, and that might be a polarizing opinion, so if you disagree with me, please tell me in the comments, but everything about that I love as a product that is geared to get started in Warhammer. They have never done better, and it's not just the fact that you get the models, you get the models on the individual sprues, beautiful poses, scenic bases, 2 different factions in different colours. You literally can, and a decent price. You can pick that box up, take it home, and be playing in under an hour, because you can just push the models off the sprue, push fit them together, build them, and fight. And if you don't care about painting or doesn't matter, you can still play the game.
Yeah, I think you can get it under 60 quid if you go through Element Games.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's the...
Put a link in the description.
So getting a starter box of anything that's sort of semi-board game related for under 60 quid these days
is
you're
really
doing
good.
well.
Yeah.
And especially to do that from Games Workshop, who aren't, let's say, the most competitive of companies at times, for them to be pushing out, I don't know, their RRP is about 65, 67 quid. But if you're getting it through your FLGS, you can be doing under 60 quid for a starter.
Yeah,
it's really
I
good.
think Element...
And with miniatures that aren't, I know they've been around a little while, but you can't just go into a shop and just pull them off the shelf and go, oh, well, it's only them in that box.
Yeah.
They're not that easy to lay your hands on. So they've done really well.
Does it work out at, like, when you consider the 20 models in there, they're like, it's $250 a model when you work it out in money? Is that right? Am I doing my math right?
And then some free scenery.
Yeah, 50.
250,
it's 50 quid. Let's say it's 50 quid for the box.
Yeah.
Element divided by 20. Yeah.
But,
250.
Okay.
Well, you don't have 10 Marines.
Yeah, you don't get 10 of either.
Oh, do you not? Is
I
it
think
8?
it's 7.
Still, 3 to 4 quid then a model.
Yeah.
They were £5 each in blind boxes.
Yeah, at least 5 quid. Yeah,
and they are some of the best sculpts ever. I'm currently, so I love it that much. I've always loved those Space Marine Heroes blind boxes. I love it that much that yes, GW did send me one. And I'm going to convert the bit that I don't like is you haven't got yours turned up yet.
No.
On the back, the Space Marine kill team, the Space Marine kill team is called Angels of Death. Angels of Death. And it's like, and they're all Ultramarines, and I'm like, aren't Angels of Death more? Do they have?
Well, Angels of
Death
Angels of Death is like a nickname for Space Marines that's used, in a lot of cases by Imperial Guard.
Right. Oh, because
Angels
of
of
the
Death.
whole.
But there used to be many moons ago. There used to be a codex called Angels of Death, which was both the Dark Angel and the Blood Angel Codex. I think it might have been 2nd edition.
Right.
Yes.
So it has related to actual angels.
Yes, I was going to say there's a Warhammer Plus show called Angels of Death, which is all about Blood Angels.
Yes.
Yeah.
So but Angels of Death is being used as a bit of a catch-all.
So with that inspiration, what I'm going to do is, so I've got the Lieutenant, the one with the muscular chest. No
Sorry,
nipples,
the Lieutenant.
Yeah, the Lieutenant, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Just didn't know he said it wrong.
Don't think so. I'm pretty sure I said it how it's spelled, Lieutenant. Lieu. Okay, spell this, Lieu.
Yeah, Lev.
It's pronounced Worcestershire sauce.
No, apparently someone in the comments says Worcestershire.
Yeah.
So it
What
depends
did
where
someone
you are.
refer to it as? Horchester?
Oh, did they?
Horchester sauce.
Horchester, bloody hell. That's a different sauce.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've got the breastplate without nipples and all that off the Lieutenant.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
No worries. And then what I'm going to do, I think you can get like blue stuff. I've seen someone do it recently. It might be Sergio Calvo or someone where you get some blue stuff or an equivalent.
Yeah, I've used blue
from
stuff
somewhere
before.
else, and you heat this stuff up. I've never used it. You heat it up in like boiling or hot water. You make it malleable. You push a part down into it,
And then you fold it over.
Yeah, but what I was going to try and do is like pour resin into it and then UV cure it or something, or get some castable resin and pour that into it.
Okay.
And then get 10 of those breastplates. Oh, I don't need 10, do I? There's only 8. So get 8 to 10 of those breastplates.
Yeah.
And you won't need another one of them because you'll have one miniatures is going to be over Phobos chestplate.
And one has Gravis armor on as
And
well.
one has Gravis armor on, so it'll need even less than
6 chest plates.
that. Maybe even 5.
So, and then I want to change them all into like Blood Angels with that same chest plate with Angels of Death. I want to have a go.
Really cool.
Yeah.
But bear in mind, like, my kit bashing's okay. I'm mixing plastic and resin, and I am not Pete the Wargamer. So these are just going to look like 3 really nice miniatures and 5 trash ones with chest plates on. But I want to have a go.
Worth a go, though.
I want to have a go. And if not, I'll buy another set because it's only 50 quid. Now, the terrain in it is...
Yeah, I'm interested in that because I still haven't seen it in the flesh yet.
I don't care. Personally, like, I don't care. Terrain to me is something that, yes, it's nice. And I love that GW started doing like lots and lots of terrain and stuff. When I was a kid in the 90s... Come on, we had the cardboard battle bunker that you got in White Dwarf. You won't remember that. But
Cardboard with plastic bulkheads, and you just slotted the cardboard in.
Oh, I wasn't even on about that.
Oh, you
yeah.
were pre that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was around the same time. So Necromunda back then was like you'd get bulkheads and then you'd slot cardboard into the bulkheads in like a U shape that you'd fold, and then do that up 3 or 4 times to make towers. But there was a White Dwarf, and a few people have made videos on this where they gave you how to cut out the shapes from a cereal box to make a bunker.
Oh, there was a book like how to make your own scenery.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's that sort of
Do you know what I love that Games Workshop still do in White Dwarf? And it really touches my heart in the fact that it's just such a quirky little thing you wouldn't imagine people are still doing. I love that, and they've done it this month because it's the most recent issue on the shelf of White Dwarf is October issue with it, obviously. And they still do that thing where they do a hard page, which is like semi-cardboard page that you can cut out and use as a backdrop for photographing your orcs.
Oh, great.
And then it's double-sided.
When have they started doing that?
They've been doing it on and off for a few years now. And it's double-sided. It's just if you want to put in the backdrop while you're photographing your orcs. And do you know what? There's something weirdly sweet about that.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I'd love that.
Yeah.
I'd have used them. I've been subscribed to White Dwarf, and I normally flick through the readers' models, see if any of my mates have painted out, and then go, oh, cool, and then put it on one side. And
Yeah, well, you'll have a few of them.
later.
Yeah.
Never do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because What's Name does them as well now, don't they? Because now you can buy your Wicked Bricks glass boxes, can't they? And they have a backdrop in them.
Yeah, I like them. There's one White Dwarf I've kept. I forget the number, but my models were in it.
Oh, get you.
I was dead happy. I did some, not Votan. What's the Votan from Age of Sigmar?
Dwarfs.
Yeah, yeah. No, what were they? The Caradron Overlords.
Yes.
And I got the Underworld set of those and painted them up with a little bit like variety of metals and stuff. And it's back when I had a bit of a painting coach, a guy who works 2 doors down from us, actually. I'll tell you about him after.
Not to be confused with the painting coach.
Yeah, not to be
confused with Lloyd's.
A painting coach.
Yeah.
not the painting coach.
Different accent.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very similar in appearance. But,
Totally. Same guy. Yeah, it's like, hang on a minute. It's like, oh, hi, I'm a painting coach. But yeah, so yeah, in one. Dead happy. That's my claim to fame. But yeah, genuinely don't care that the scenery is cheap. The models alone, especially being so rare, but so well sculpted, make that set worth it for me. Please, Games Workshop, because that's we know this is how they work. If we say please,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. If you say
Make-
please, I'll make whatever you ask.
make more starter sets in that vein. I don't think this one was done super intelligently. Like, it wasn't designed from the ground up in that way. I think bits kind of more fell together. It's like, well, we've got these heroes and those heroes, and they'll work as a kill team, and it kind of fell together. Probably, maybe more than, or maybe this was the plan from 3 years ago.
So I think potentially genius move, because one is perfect. Like, we've had a bit of a moan about, like, how are you meant to get into Warhammer?
Yeah.
I think that was even like a title of the a show like a little while ago, like how you meant to get into 40k. I think this is perfect. Like, you got the plastic miniatures, you don't have to paint them. Scenery's already done. Put your board down, flick through the rules. Like you say, you're gaming in an hour.
Yeah.
To those people that are more willing to put the time in and aren't really fussed about the scenery, you've got those miniatures that are quite hard to get hold of. Like, I remember failing. It was that moment in pre-orders where they'd sold out before they'd technically gone live or something like that. So I missed out on the Space Marine Heroes, and I think the Death Guard was, because they're a few years old now, aren't they?
Yeah, I think my Death Guards are about 3 years old.
Yeah.
I feel like Death Guard
so I
were
missed
like
out.
Heroes Series 2.
3.
Yeah.
3.
Series 3, yeah.
Or were they the ones that were like Japanese only or something?
They were
as
Japanese
well?
only.
They all were.
They were Japanese only, and the only way you could get their Plague Caster was in a Japanese paint starter set.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And then, because I got them miniatures from Wayland, I bought one of their like, counter boxes, and it has all of them.
The whole thing.
Yeah, but it didn't come with the Sorcerer.
Yeah.
Because the
couldn't get
Sorcerer
him
was
in the
trapped
UK.
inside a painting box.
Yeah.
And then they officially launched them again and then they put the Sorcerer in it.
Yeah.
And I thought, I can't do this again just for the sake of trying to get that miniature.
Yeah.
I actually paid someone on eBay 35 quid for that Sorcerer when it came out. And I got...
That's the price of half a Kill Team starter box.
No, tell me about it.
Yeah.
But I wanted that set. I was like, I'm going to paint these.
Yeah.
So this is my point. So even if you're not that interested in Kill Team, but you really want the models, it's cheaper than buying all of them individually, even if you could. It's good value just for the miniatures, and then you got some terrain if you need it, you got some rules if you want it.
I will put a bit of a spanner in the works on that price. I think it's a great starter price. I really do. But if you are new to Kill Team and you go that route, it's a great way of getting into it. But then you are going to have an expenditure of... It's a good starting point, but you're going to have to whack out a whole load of cash if you start to really like it from there on, because then you're going to have to go and buy the full rule book, 30-something quid, and then you'll get counters in there again, and then you're then going to have to then go, right, and now I want to play this big boys version of this. I'm now going to have to go and buy proper plastic scenery. I might, because it's only paper, that board probably isn't going to last forever. Then you're going to go, how do I get hold of a proper fold-out cardboard Kill Team board? And you go, and they normally are only released in a box.
Yeah.
And then you go, and then if I go over to Kill Team proper, I need to buy the Battlefield accessories box, which has barbed wire in it and mines. And you don't have to have them. You can use counters for them to some degree, but it's not aesthetically pleasing. And it makes it harder for your opponent to be able to see what's going on. But you don't get a counter for ladders, and you don't get a counter for barriers and things like that. So it is a good priced box.
Yeah.
So hang on, before you finish, are you saying this is a critique? Because everything you've said there is just described having a hobby and adding to it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to say,
you into a false. Here's the good crap.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like everyone's saying, and I am agreeing with it because I've said it already on the show, that if you FLGS it, under 60 quid for that box is great guns, especially because it's got not the easiest of miniatures to find, and it's a good box. You open it, and like you say, if you're not that bothered about little gaps between bits of plastic because they're push fit, if you just want to go bang, get them together for now, put them on a board, the scenery just slots literally inside itself, and off you go. It's great, and we're all talking about how cheap that is.
Yeah.
But the expenditure when you need to buy the full rule book, the box of cards for playing missions. Yeah. And then you go on, hang on, now that scenery is not really up to snuff, because the missions in the box of cards will show you where proper bits of scenery are meant to go. Although you can play it where you still put your own scenery down, but you start getting into it and you go, no, well, I wouldn't mind playing that type of mission and that. You're going to quickly find that converting your 60 quid starter box into big boys Kill Team is going to become pricey. relatively quickly. And I'm not taking anything away from it because I think it's a great starter box. But I would say to anyone who's not dipped their foot into Kill Team at this point,
or Warhammer,
or Warhammer. If you've not dipped your foot into Warhammer at all and you're watching this, I'm very impressed. But if you're going to do that,
I was thinking the same.
I'm just saying,
I don't get the critique at all. Like, I'm trying, and I'm trying to be objective.
And what I'm trying to say is
it's quite a gap.
Yeah, converting up is going to cost you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looks like you saved a load of money under 60 quid. Depends on where you shop.
But it doesn't look like you. I don't think it does look like you've saved a load of money. I think to the new person coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, board game, 60 quid. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Like for the new people, you're like, oh, cool. How much is the expansion set? Expansion set.
We got.
How much is the expansion set? Oh, it's £1,500. Like if you want the full expansion set, what?
Yeah, and I expect so I do think you will start to notice that it will price up if you decide to expand out of what comes in that box. But I'm still very pro the box.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think the most likely way is you're gonna you come in, you're gonna buy the box, you're gonna be like, oh, we're having fun. I'm gonna step up some more. You'll buy some paint, you'll buy some other stuff. You'll be like, I'll get one more Kill Team. Oh, I can't really use this. You know what? I'll talk to my mate. He's got the book. Like, yeah, you can play that.
And you're gonna have to, and the annoying thing is as well, you basically got to have them cards pretty much twice.
What do you mean? Which cards?
Comes with you get. In fact, it's behind you, isn't it, Pat?
Oh, have you bought the Kill Team?
Pat, that little box of cards.
Yeah. They're for the. Let me.
Is that for 40k?
No, it's for Kill Team.
Do you not get them with the models?
No.
Oh.
So if you can I
for Nemesis Claw.
Oh, are they? Oh, sorry. Yeah. It's not. So then also as well, you potentially might want the data slates if you don't want to mess around with the the app. So these are all your data slates for your different teams for your different miniatures that you can take in your team.
Okay.
But the app, in its defence, is free.
Right. Okay.
So these will be.
Did you want something from the big box?
Yeah, there is a box of cards in there. So these are all your different ones, but these
those are my characters.
But you don't need to buy these because you can have all of this on the app.
Yeah. So which is free.
The app's free and also not bad. It'd be good to have the ability to let you build on it instead of just showing you on it, but it's still very, very good.
Right. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. So these are my characters.
So have you got a box of cards there?
Yeah, I think so.
That's the box of the paper with the box of cards in and the box of...
Which I do really like. It's quite like
a cool little box. So it's done like a dossier sort of thing.
Packaging lately, haven't they? Like things they haven't done the
like this. This does feel like I'm like yes, it's my Kill Team briefcase. And then,
do you remember
them bad boys? Thank you.
Do you remember when we did that Necromunda and we had the day building Necromunda and you got there was like a dossier pouch, wasn't there? With and the sticker was like a wax seal. I do like those little.
Yeah, I do like them. They're the little things. They're things like that make my little geek heart sing.
You know what? We should do an episode on the undersung heroes of Games Workshop, and the people who design the boxes and stuff like that really do need some serious praise.
So this here is when you then want to start playing missions in a more grown-up manner. Or an in-depth manner. Grown up sounds a little bit like I'm being a condescending.
Are these faction specific or something?
What this is these are your maps. All right, I'll show this because there might be people on the fence a little bit at the moment with Kill Team. These are your maps, and this is Volcus, which is the one that comes in Hivestorm, and as you can see, it gives you layouts for the scenery that's in the box.
Yeah.
So it's all right, and then on the other side, it's for Gallow Dark for the old run of not the last run of Kill Team. The run before that, so it's the scenery for that. And there's two of these. One does that one. The other one does the one that was the short run oil rig expansion.
Yeah.
But then what that also includes is also on the other side of that. So if you do want to use your own scenery, is ones where it doesn't show any scenery at all. It just shows you the layouts for your objective markers. So there's that, right? So then what you then have is every army or every team will have two sort of archetypes of things it's good at.
Yeah.
right? For what, like, for example, one of them off the top of my head for the Crute is they're quite good at infiltration.
Yeah.
Right. So there's 4 types, and your army will be good at doing 2 of them.
Yeah.
So when you're picking your missions, when you're picking your particular missions, you'll have from from your tactical ops, you'll have recon, seek and destroy, security, infiltration, so on.
Okay.
And then what you do is every time you play this game, you have 3. You'll have the primary, which is what you're both fighting over. You're fighting over the objectives. Then you'll pick one of these ones which relates to what your army is particularly good at.
Your secondary objectives.
And then you also have a kill ops, which is you have I'll see if I can find it. You have basically like a little grid that shows you, here you go, kill op.
Yeah.
Right? And what that does, however many miniatures you have in your army, you have a kill grade. So say, for example, 7. Well, the minute you kill one miniature, you go to grade 1.
Yeah.
You get victory points for that.
Right. Okay.
Okay. And then to go up to the next grade, you need to have 3.
4,
so you're
6,
getting victory points for them. Your opponent is also doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You gain more victory points if your kill grade is higher than him.
Yeah.
And then what you do is you then put a card out of sight, which is one of these cards, primary ops, right? So you've got crit op, tactical op, and kill op, right?
This is per. You get these per.
Each person will have
per kill team.
Each one, yes. And what you do is you put one of them somewhere hidden, especially because if you look at the back of them, they're all identical.
Yeah.
You put it hidden, and then at the end of the game, you go, tac op was my main thing.
Right. Okay.
And that what means is your points you accumulate for that are higher if you win.
Right.
If you win, your points are higher if you have been achieving stuff on that.
Yeah.
So this box, this going forward, this deck of cards, as you can see, is relatively important. So if you decide to upgrade alone just with regards to that, that's going to be about another 17 quid.
Okay. We need to start gearing up to actually, we keep talking about this, we need to actually play it.
Yeah.
I think I would like to start with the starter box.
Yeah, I think that's a great.
Through it.
Yeah, and the rules and that are quite simplified in there as well. So but it's a good starter. But I'm just using. I know I waffled on a bit there, but to make my point is the fact that
it's
if you're upgrading from kill team starter to kill team main, have a mild intake of breath because it's going to probably cost you.
Welcome to the hobby.
Yeah, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you a few quid to do it
because they haven't necessarily, like, it is a game in a box, isn't it?
It is a game in a box.
Which is great, but it is marketed as a kill team starter set.
Yes,
am I correct in thinking that? Yeah.
And the emphasis on the word start. You start here.
Yeah. So
if you start here and you end there as well, and you only ever just play the contents of that box, good on you.
Yeah.
But if I'm right, and that's it. Like, weirdly, so I'm the sort of person who I will play, and this is the bit where I'm thinking this works, and I don't think it does. So someone tried to get me into Magic years ago. A friend of mine called Dan tried to get me into Magic, and I played it a bit, and I was like, oh, this is quite good, I think. And then I started getting like a couple of card packs, and I was like, these are pretty. I'm lost as soon as I tried to deck build. Then I got into Pokemon that released, like, I think they brought out 3 or 4 theme decks. There was a starter set and 3 theme decks back in the day. I sold them at a car boot for like £4 each. Regret. But the way I like to play them now is every few months they'll release like 2 theme packs or 2 or 4 theme packs. And I like to get them, and me and the wife will be like, hey, this deck versus that deck, because they're generally balanced. That's how I like to play that game. I don't like to do all the tinkering and blah, 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 because I don't have time and I just want to play the game. So I'm thinking the Kill Team starter set is Nurgle guys versus Space Marines.
And it's all done for you.
And it's all done for me. And I'm like, But I think the bit where I don't understand it is I thought I can then go out and buy the Night Lords box and then plug that in, so it's Night Lords versus Death Guard, but it's not.
No, not really. Not in your starter box. You're going to struggle a little bit to do it that way. You're going to need because what will make the Night Lords is not just their data slate, they'll also then have strategic ploys, which will very, like, I give you an example for one from the point of view of the recruit, is say it's like a mission where it's going, if you hold an objective, you can go and switch, I'm paraphrasing, switch a radio on. Right? And say me and Pat are playing, and Pat's holding that objective with his Night Lords, and I'm playing
on the radio
and
as a band, or
as a band,
right.
Well, so say imagine Pat's controlling that thing, right? I can, as a recruit, go into that. I can go onto that objective and switch that radio on,
right?
But without me having to hold it. It's called poaching.
Right, okay.
Because the idea is they're quite sneaky. So that's quite a recruit-related rule.
And that's not on the data card.
But that's
within the
the
wider rules.
Whereas a more Night Lords related rule would be you can hold this objective and skin someone alive.
Yeah,
right, okay.
Absolutely
Brilliant.
right. Skin them alive and rub pickled onions on their on their bare muscle. Yeah, so it's like, so if you because my worry is that you'll very quickly, the more you start to enjoy the starter set of Kill Team, I think it will start to feel a little bit tactically bereft quite quickly. I think you'll want to feel like you want to do more with it. And that's where I'm saying,
I don't know that I personally will, just knowing where my brain goes. I'm like, this is good, but I don't want to learn more. But okay, let's see. We talk about it. Let's see. Like I say, I've got a copy. I've ordered another copy from Element Games because I think it's that good, and I also want the original models as they were, not the kit bashed versions that I've got. Which means I've got a spare Death Guard team.
Cool.
But so I love it. I think it's fantastic. I think it's brilliant. The way they've done it, probably more through just how things fell together than what's it. But if you're going to plan forward, GW, I pray that you do more starter sets like that. Cheap, simple board games. And can be expanded on.
And this is interesting. This is something that I wanted to sort of follow on to. Is this sort of like I've been a big. No, I haven't been a big. I've really liked what Modifius have been doing this year. Mass Effect board game, Fallout Factions, like games in boxes, really high quality, and the price is really decent as well.
Yeah.
Now, potentially, it could be argued that Workshop has sort of seen that gap in the market in their range, and are doing more of the games in the boxes kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good thing, like for people that like board games. I don't know if there's a downside to it or not.
I think it'd be nice to think that Kill Team might end up on a shelf somewhere with a load of board games, and people go, I'll get Kill Team down.
Smiths. Like you're walking through Smiths.
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it, if it was there like that, we went, but I also mean as well, like, like a family home, and they've got a load of board games on a thing, and going, and father and son, father and daughter, mother and son, whatever way you want to go, I'll go and get Kill Team down, we'll play that this week. As if you go and get, Game
of Life.
Yeah,
Monopoly.
Whatever.
Yeah, like
one of them. Not Monopoly. Don't mention Monopoly. Doesn't go well in here.
It doesn't go. No one. I don't think anyone has ever actually had fun ever playing Monopoly.
I think they've started with fun, but it's not where they've ended.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's the whole point of it, really, isn't it?
To hate your family by the end of it.
Yeah.
It's like, for me, I have the same sort of thing. When the other half's like, do I look a bit off in this? And immediately you're like, this is a fucking trap. Right. Yeah.
I was intrigued to see where that was going.
Yeah. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, this is a trap. That's what it's like when you play. Do you want to play Monopoly? That's like saying, do you want to have an argument?
Yeah.
Would you like to? No, not really.
Let's play this for 2 hours and then not speak for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice though, wouldn't it, if Kill Team people treated Kill Team as just, but I also think it's nice if you expand on, because I've been really trying to knuckle down and learn it the last few weeks. And it is a really, really quite really layered game. And yes, you could argue, oh, it's rules heavy. It sort of is and it isn't all at the same time. But it's got a lot to like in it. And I think the fact that it sort of doesn't just go, my gaming pieces are the same as your gaming pieces. They're just a different colour.
Yeah.
I like the fact that the army, the teams reflect things that match their their particular flavour,
traits,
their traits and their characters. And I think I have a lot of time for that. And I tell you as well, also, I wasn't aware until I watched a video the other day, the Tempestus Aquilans, the jump pack Imperial
the guys
Guard.
that are in Hivestorm.
Yeah. They're blooming killing it they put them in the codex, well, in the data slate, because they haven't got a codex yet, for Imperial Guard, and they're really bloody good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, they've moved the Vespids in as the new variant of the Vespids. I've gone into the Tower one as well with weaponry that reflects what you get in the Hivestorm box, but I haven't checked them out yet. But the Tempestus Aquilans are really damn good. So I wouldn't be surprised if people who are just guardsman players will start investing in the Hivestorm box to do that.
Yeah.
Or keep your eye on them the next few weeks, because I'm going to put mine on eBay and get rid of them.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's interesting what you say, though, more of a board game, and this is what we've said. Like, they've tried their ones that end up at, I think in the UK they end up at Game, which is more becoming the game entertainer. Because it's less video games, more board games.
Yes.
Well, Game's going to have problems, isn't it? Because I think come PlayStation 6 and come Xbox, whatever it will be, I think
Online
discs
only,
are gone. Yeah, discs are going to go. And the new PlayStation Pro, PS5 Pro, doesn't have a drive.
Well, Game doesn't even. I don't know if the one in Nottingham Big Centre shut down, but Game pretty much doesn't exist anymore as a retail store in the UK. They've moved inside Sports Direct, because I think it's part.
Well, at Nottingham, weirdly,
there's Game, and then opposite is the House of Fraser
with a game
with a game in it.
Yeah, but
they're still both at the moment.
The Game in House of Fraser just does like board games,
and
then the Game, the shop in itself is more of the traditional.
Yeah, I go into main Game in Nottingham to not buy video games. I only go in there to buy Black Series Star Wars figures.
Yeah,
it's mad, isn't it? Like, I mean, I used to work for Game. I'm talking 20 years ago.
Yeah,
but I used to work for Game. The one down in Broadmarsh. And it was brilliant. Spent 3 years working there. It's fantastic. Used to get discount on my games, 10%. Brilliant. Spent all my wages on games, played them. Absolutely amazing. They back then they had a 10-day returns policy.
Yes.
So you could take a game.
You go complete a game.
The game and take it back. And so many people, we had regulars who did.
Yeah.
It was like absolutely insane. But yeah, like, I wonder why they went bankrupt in the...
I don't know. I can't understand how that happened in the States.
I think that ended shortly after I left there. I didn't really keep track of what their policies were.
Every time I go into Nottingham City Centre and that Game is still open, I'm surprised.
Yeah. It's sad, like, because
we still have a HMV, don't we, in Vic
We still do have a HMV, yeah. Mainly sells Funko Pops.
Yeah.
Next week, tell me there's a Virgin Megastore somewhere down that way in the Woolworths.
Yeah.
So but
blast from the past. Yeah,
that's it. But so the GW do those one shot box sets like Space Marine, which I wanted to get for the wrong way around Titus model.
Yeah,
you're slipping on a banana skin.
But it was released the day we were at Thingy, wasn't it?
Yes.
So
because they re-released it in the UK under like a bit of a different name, haven't they?
Yeah,
and like different packaging and stuff.
That's it. So, but they end up in Game in the UK, and I think Barnes and Noble or equivalent in the US.
Yeah,
as like one shot. Oh, this is a thing.
Because we've still got we painted up and need to have a go playing it at some point in time. We've still got Dark Side.
Yes.
Which, funny enough, has just now been released on PlayStation 5.
Only just?
What? Just, yeah. Well, not even just, it's December.
Oh,
They've started running trailers for it. The only thing I will say about PlayStation 5's Dark Tide is it's going to be the most ironed out and complete version of it because of the amount of
updates
bugs and updates.
But if you've got a PS5, you'd have been able to play the PS4 version anyway, wouldn't you?
No, they were. What Dark Tide?
Was there not a PS4? Was it PC only?
PC and then PC and Xbox and PlayStation 5's just got it. It will just get it next month.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.
So, like I say, if you are interested, at least it will be a very, very up-to-date version of it.
Yeah.
And the graphics will be quite nice.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if I'd be really intrigued to see where they go, because if they can break into the board game market, like I imagine that's super competitive and the quality in that is incredibly high. I think,
and it's also a big market.
Yeah.
Haven't been at Spiel.
Huge.
It's ridiculous.
It was insane, wasn't it?
like the main thing I think they might have to fix is, the boxes, the cardstock that they've gone to is really poor.
Because I think the problem being is that
they've got expensive plastics in there.
I don't think it's just them. I don't think that's just them yet, though. You've just launched your phone. Like I've seen boxes on the shelf of expensive board games with cheaper cardstock than
Oh,
that.
really? Yeah.
So,
Because generally, a
I've got
lot of
two
the
kids,
time,
I go to Smith's often.
I was going to say, because generally, a lot of the time, the board game gang are they're quite. They expect a reasonable amount of good quality, don't they? Mainly because, obviously, you know, I have already, with that Kill Team Hivestorm box, that lid has been folded down and binned. Because I haven't got any space for the boxes to keep boxes.
Like, so mine came... mine came ripped.
Came re-ripped for you? So you
yeah,
so
I don't know how well that shows up on camera, but that came like destroyed. So I think, you know, some trouble in transit or something.
Because I like say, I've already tried. I'm trying to get that box to the point that it doesn't exist. I'm building everything, trying to sell other things out of it I don't want.
Yeah.
The book is on the shelf with the other ones. I'm trying to not have a box. So I don't mind the box being a bit rubbish because my plan is to not have one. You know, if you build everything in that box, it's not all going to fit back in that box anyway.
I think you're right there. Like I saw it earlier, I was going to grab it. When, like, if you bought a board game and that was the cardstock quality and it ripped, like, you'd send it back.
Yeah.
You'd be like,
Because I bet you, if you were to go over, I'm not suggesting you do, but if you were to go over and pick up that Zombicide box that is in the background, that's a lot stronger quality cardboard box than that Hivestorm one.
And as well, in the box, in Zombicide, everything, it's, single piece PVC models.
Yeah.
Everything has its place.
Yeah, it has its own little slot, doesn't it? Yeah, because it's designed to be put away and taken down again.
Yeah. And I think that's what Workshop will have to do more of if they do that. Yeah.
There we go. I just thought I'd get some earlier examples.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about the card on boxes now, but
I know.
This wasn't on the list.
It wasn't on the list, damn it.
Well, we're talking about the best thing. So obviously, like this, when was Into the Dark? Was that 2 versions ago now?
It's a couple of well, not versions, but a couple of seasons ago. Yeah.
But when you look at like Leviathan, that's in your proper board game box.
Yeah.
This is your flagship product. I think. If they were going to release there isn't a newer 40k, is there?
Not yet.
Is there a newer Sigma? Is the Sigma?
Yeah, the one with the rats in it was recently.
Skaven. What was that box?
Skaven Tides. I don't know.
That came out this year, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Yeah. Speaking to the quality of the cardboard, I don't know.
No,
and even the Into the Dark box is better than the box for Hivestorm.
Yeah. So they're saving money on the amount of cardboard that they're using. But I think
But also as well, potentially, argue as well. They might. They potentially could say, but it's an eco thing as well. That making the boxes might be.
But if they're going, more into board games, I think all the miniatures will have to It's tricky because they're never going to do single piece plastic miniatures.
No,
ever. No, I think that would. Yeah,
God, that's a whole topic in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they would. Mate, because even in Space Crusade, they're 2 pieces.
Yeah. And that's going back some.
And that's early 90s or whatever it was?
You're right. Let's say the technology. I'm not talking now. I'm not talking. And I don't know how they do this.
3D prints.
I didn't say that. No, but let's say. No, because I think plastic is important for GW.
Yeah.
But there was years ago when I'd have said that about their pewter and different metals that they used. Yeah. And even back then it was like plastic's the future. And I think plastic is the most versatile material they've got for sculpting. Sorry, mate, am I boring you?
A little bit.
Okay.
You're getting him back when he...
It's what we're here for. I feel sad now. So, I'm just letting you know what the audience feels. But, I forgot what I was saying. Plastic is the way to be for GW. I think, oh God, I wish I shared it. Somebody posted the other day, and it was either on Twitter or Instagram, and I was like, I really want to share this. They bought one of the Forge World upgrade sprues for some models, layer lines everywhere. Now, obviously, they use... We all knew GW used 3D printing as part of the manufacturing process and things like that. It's not a secret because we can see it. Yeah. But I think there's definitely when you're buying something from Forge World, you would expect that somebody has taken the 3D print and sanded those from the print to create the master. And it's kind of like it does it kind of muddy the waters when people are like, I could 3D print better quality at home. Well, you could, because you could print the master and still have the layer lines in it, and that's a bit sad. But GW are dominating with plastics, and I think they're pushing forward with plastics, and if they want to stay competitive, they're going to need to keep developing new plastic technologies. I think if there was ever a way where they could create a mold that would allow like a full with voids and everything model that could suddenly like release and thingy that you could then get a fully sculpted, I think they'd go with it. I think they would do that.
If you go back long enough, you know what I mean, at one point in time, pewters were all one where either completely metal or three-quarters metal and like one plastic arm, depending on what the weapon was coming with it.
You're in that kind of that sort of thing where everything's
it can be, I do think
everything's quite flat. Everyone's arms are out to the side.
You can be a slippery slope. You've got to be careful.
Yeah, you'd need some kind of malleable, I'm talking nanotechnology material that creates the mold by forming itself, inject plastic into it, then it turns back into a liquid or something. You know, I'm just imagining some silly future. But you know, technology is crazy now what we can do. So you know, it's things are coming, and so all I'm saying is never say never.
Cool. Okay, so that's been your product. That's been your product of the year for Games Workshop.
So far, they've got more coming. They've got the Christmas battle boxes. So
we'll get to them in a sec.
Yeah, they're talking about your airbrush.
Have you got anything you would like to?
No, well, I think I tagged onto that one.
I found two expressions in that get used in the English language. One of them being trial and error. And the other one was, and I wanted to throw it out the fucking window. I'm finding both of those expressions in the last couple of weeks can be applied to airbrushing. I made the decision because I had
because you watched Pat's video.
Yeah, because I had a reason. It's you know what? Can I just tell you the awful thing in life? Is when me and Pat are like brothers. We founded this channel and we've been together on it a long time. But when I can't explain the level of betrayal when I felt like my brother had lied to me about what airbrushing was like. But yeah, so go on. What were you going to say?
Is it like when... I'm just going to say for the health of the channel, I'm glad Pat did the "this is how what airbrushing's like" video rather than you.
Yeah.
Fucking sit there for an hour. This is shit. That's shit. That's shit.
That bit in The Godfather 2 when he discovers that his brother is the one that's betrayed him. I feel a little bit like that with regards to Pat and airbrushing.
I mean, in my defence, I had in that first airbrushing video that I made with like a bunch of different airbrushes. I had an absolute mare.
Yes.
I think I had like 2 or 3 miniatures that all went in BioStrip.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is awful. Right. I hate airbrushing.
Yes.
But then like Warwick from Harder and Steenbeck saw it and was just like, oh, like this will help.
Let me tell you where you're going.
Very kindly sent an ultra and sort of got me through it. Yeah.
All right.
I'd had quite a hefty amount remaining of store credits with Element Games, which was a thank you for doing some work with them. And I thought, I've got this money, let's behave like a grown-up and go and get something that you probably wouldn't get round to buying for yourself out of your own wallet. So I went and bought a compressor. I went and bought a Harder and Steenbeck Ultra.
Yeah.
And I bought Element Games' pre-designed cleaning kit, which comes with one of them spray pots, brushes, cleaning Vallejo. No, it's not Vallejo. Whoever it is, cleaning fluid, Iwata cleaning fluids, and a foam cleaning fluid.
Oh yeah.
And
I've got some,
which I'll explain into a little bit more in a minute, and a silver bullet as well, which I'll explain what a silver bullet is in a second. And I bought that.
I think my wife's got one.
I was going to go down the killing vampires route.
I was going straight in there.
But
so she.
Well done. So I bought this anyway. So yes, I've met Warwick lovely gentleman
Doesn't
from
he
Hardware.
smell amazing?
It's just. I don't use this term for other men very often, but he's quite dashing, isn't he?
Yeah, it's weird.
He's got that.
Does
he's
a lot
got,
of surfing.
He's got.
Does he?
Yeah, he's got a South African accent, but not. I know they can say this is somebody else's quite regional accent. It's not harsh. It's like South African, but quite soft.
I quite like the South African accent anyway.
Yeah, he's got that accent. He's got quite a cool manicure beard. When I seen him at Essen, he was in a nice tweed jacket. He was looking the bomb, and it was really nice to meet him. And
Dior Sauvage.
Is that what he wears?
Yeah. I walked up, he was like, hey, he gave him a hug, and I was like, you smell amazing. He was like, sausage.
I wear one similar to that. I wear sausage. It's like I've got a real nice Cumberland smell about me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
Lincolnshire, mate.
Yeah. So I bought the kit, and oh my good God, I've watched. It comes with a really nice little QR code in the box that if you then look at it, it'll then link you to Warwick's really, really well put together videos.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the way, me and them videos and what I've bought don't seem to be getting on particularly well at all.
What troubles are you facing?
Yeah, what?
All of them. Right, I would like to go on the record in case Warwick is watching this. Well, already I've done that slight shit sandwich with Warwick, is where I've complimented him because he's dashing and cool, and then I'm gonna then put this bit in the middle, and then I'll try my best to sort of be nice about Hardware and staying back on the other side. I don't think they're the problem. I think the fact is, even though I've followed these videos, and I am that terrible open the IKEA box, throw the instructions over my shoulder and find an Allen key and get going sort of guy. I am like that. I tried my best not to do that. I used a little QR code, scanned it with my phone, started watching these videos that Warwick and Hardware and Steinbeck kindly put together for people. And it's not going. I'm having a mare. I'm having an absolute mare. I think the first problem, and you know when you know that thing you do when you're hoping everything goes right and it doesn't, and you immediately then want to blame the equipment. I've bought, and some people will now go, ooh, but I did my research and plenty of people went, no, this is fine. I bought the smaller Sparmax compressor, so I bought one that doesn't have a tank.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, thank you. People said, when I read the reviews, they go, it used to be a problem, but as long as you don't mind the noise, there is no difference between having one with a cylinder and having one without a cylinder.
Yeah.
And as I only airbrush in the barbershop on my own, it doesn't matter because there's no one else for me to annoy.
Yeah.
Because if I'm airbrushing, there's no one in the shop.
Yeah.
It's blatantly going to be that.
You might get slightly lower top end pressure.
Yeah.
Or the initial blowout is inconsistent pressure, and the other issue you can get is moisture build-up inside the line.
Right.
Continue.
Well, that's what the silver bullet is.
Oh,
it's an add-on.
Oh, smart. A moisture trap.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which goes between the end of the hose and the airbrush.
Yeah.
And
right.
you can actually see it building up water, and you've got a release valve to blow it out. Yeah.
Them three things don't like each other at all, as far as I've come to the conclusion.
Oh.
They don't seem to get on. They're not bedfellows, as the expression would go, whatsoever. And I'm now at the point where I want to start crying. It's just, I don't know what. I think, am I not thinning me paint enough? And this might be the bit where you both go, what are you doing? I've been painting with a brand that I really love. I've been airbrushing with Pro Acryl.
I figured it out. Oh,
they go quite well through an airbrush.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say
Dulux.
No. I've got this Dulux gloss.
Dulux gloss isn't going through my airbrush, no matter how much I thin it.
Yeah.
No, stick with Crown. No, I thought you were going to say AK, and we've both struggled with AK.
No.
Yeah.
No. So, like the other day, I give an example. I put it together. I set it all up, and I put me thinners in first.
Yeah.
Like you told me.
Yeah.
By watching your video, and then I put me Pro Acryl in, and I mixed it all together, and I made sure everything. I thought I had my PSI right, and then I push down, pull back, as I'm learning to do.
Yeah.
And managed to completely cover my work surface in all of me paint.
Okay.
As it just exploded out the top of me pot.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so it went. Oh, so you got a blocked nozzle.
But the thing is my
potentially
nozzle,
a blockage somewhere.
But I've now. Do you know what?
Have you taken it apart? And,
Oh yeah, do you know, to the point now that I think that I'm a barber and a semi-professional airbrush cleaner.
Yeah.
That's what I do as a job, is I clean airbrushes as a second career.
Because I
feel like I just constantly am cleaning it and I'm just not getting anywhere.
So with the Ultra, the one of the criticisms of it is you can't bubble back.
Yeah.
But if you give the nozzle like half a turn unscrewing it, you actually can.
Right.
So it might be that the front of it isn't on tight enough. That could potentially be
I'm just wondering whether I'm just not getting my paint mix right.
Well, that's the next thing. So if you've got air blowing back up through this bit, it's because...
Can I just show you something? You ready? If you look at my trainer.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
Can you like that nice turquoise?
Let me see if I can figure out the colour. That is Pro-Acryl's. It's jade green.
That's green, jade green, yeah, on the sides of my training shoe.
Can we take the shoe off? Can we show the audience?
If you really want to.
Let's go. So with...
Don't tell me I don't know me fucking paints.
Yeah, no, incredible. So... I won't cut to me because the dog's there. We'll give people the view of the dog.
Come on, get down, you're ruining Pat's shop.
No, it's
there.
fine.
We go.
The dog's better than me.
Yeah, but she doesn't know much about airbrushing.
No.
And she's not as hairy.
Yeah, very, very true. Yeah. Oh, man. So, yes, my point is...
Come on now, get
Oh,
no, just...
No, you can't neglect the dog. She's still getting stroked under the table.
Yeah, she's
so
still
it's totally fine.
Table.
I think in Warwick's videos, he recommends Vallejo air paints.
Yes.
And he thins them 50-50.
Yeah.
And the air paints are already pre-thinned.
See, now that's the problem. I think I'm wondering whether am I just not thinning my
pro acryl paints. Like, I think I need to do a retraction because I called them thick and gloopy, which is very wrong because they're thick and creamy. I think is actually that's what I meant to say. They're going to need thinning quite a bit more.
See, I'm wondering whether I went with what Warwick was doing, and now you may well have pointed out was Warwick was going 5 drops paint, 5 drops thinner.
Yeah.
And I've been going 5 drops paint, 5 drops thinner, and I'm wondering now the problem.
The Pro Acryl drops are big as well.
Yeah. So do you think that's where I might
drop size is something that people don't...
Do you think I may be thinning my paint enough?
Quite possibly. And then you might be struggling to get it through the airbrush. So somebody will be watching the airbrushes with Pro Acryl paints. Please tell Geoff your thinning ratios.
Yeah, because at the moment, I was really on the brink the other day. Do you know what I actually thought? You know that, and I did exactly that thing I was saying. You know when you're going, but I'm meant to instantly know what I'm doing, you know?
Yeah.
And because Warwick has dashingly told me what I'm meant to be doing, and it wasn't happening, and I thought...
Specifically and then it was like that he's using,
the compressor's going back, I'm going up to the next size up. You know, I was instantly looking to try and figure out what was going wrong.
Yeah.
But what I ended up finding out now, again... somebody who may know more than I do, who can potentially tell me where I'm going wrong, is it's only working without the silver bullet on.
Okay. Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, might need to check that then, because it should work. Where are you plugging that said silver bullet?
Into the bottom of that, and then into the other end goes into the hose.
So it goes into this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Because you could do it from the compressor as well, could you?
No, I don't know. I don't think I can connect it at the compressor end. I
need to see what this silver bullet is, because mine is literally like you've got a thread on one end and a nut on the other, and it goes in line. So what I did, I had 2 hoses. It went from one hose into that, and then I had a short hose.
Because I've seen it before, much like you're doing, where it goes into the handle of the airbrush.
Yeah.
But I didn't buy one because I was like, oh, that just sounds like something else to go wrong.
Yes, I love, and also you're looking at your spar
it's
maps.
a decent whack of a compressor, isn't it?
And you've got your moisture trappers in that, isn't it?
Oh right, great, yeah.
I think you've got a moisture trap built into that one. Yeah, so it's been it's been an interesting couple of weeks.
Yeah, so I would definitely think about thinning your paints more.
Far more than I already am doing.
Yeah,
I think when it comes to thinning paints, this is what I've learned, because I've been a lot of people. You know, when we're doing the demos at the booth for Artis Opus, and people are like, "How much water do I put on my brush to thin it for dry brushing?" I think it's the same for airbrushing, the same for painting. It depends.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And so what you need to do, Geoff, is thin it to the consistency of milk.
Yes, I've heard this said.
And then ignore that because it's utter. And like that is one where I agree with Tommy completely. In what like he said, and I'm paraphrasing because I'm a lot more aggressively spoken than him. He's so sweet and knowledgeable. But yeah, it's that the whole dogma of the consistency of milk is the most total and utter bullshit that you can feed to somebody, which I think more often than not misleads them into a false sense of security in miniature painting.
I agree a little bit, but I also disagree.
Well, you're wrong then.
Because I think, say like your too thin coats, your consistency of milk, if it's a complete beginner, if you are a complete beginner, that's a step up in what to aim for. And then you can make your progress off of that as you learn.
All right, fair enough. I concede that for a beginner, it's a step.
Yeah.
But I just wish that was prefixed with this is a step. Yeah. If you want to go further, then you kind of need to get that.
Tommy very cleverly said, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said, what do you thin your milk? What do you thin your paint to? And we all, the three of us went,
milk.
It's milk. And Tommy said, it depends on what you're doing, is the answer.
Yeah.
And is the correct answer.
Yeah, if you're doing base coats, if you're doing highlights, if you're glazing,
man that
whatever. Yeah.
But, so...
I think the general assumption
I've not been having a happy couple of weeks.
No.
This is where I wanted to lead on to. Like, this is where... And I think this is just the case due to the format, not through anyone's presentation or delivery, why YouTube videos aren't as good as in-person training. And which they never really can be.
Do you know, last night I sat there and I thought, and I went onto the internet and I went, can I find somebody doing airbrush painting tutorials? You know, and I went to see what Cult of Paint have got on at the moment, and they haven't got anything on, and they especially haven't got anything on near me. Yeah. And I was like, because I thought, where, and and annoyingly, I was watching an old Cult of Paint video last night just past the time, and it was Henry doing
hi,
doing one on the Black Templar whatever they call the lieutenants, Castellans or whatever. And it was like, where the video that we did that one time, is he firstborn or is he Primaris? Yes, that one. And he was painting that, and then he's like, so, and the next thing he's like, and you're going, you're now doing blooming tiny bits of shine on his leg with an airbrush. And there's me just about happy that I managed to base coat a Vespid the other day. You know what I mean? I'm like, and it's like,
it's how much practice. It's I get it. Like, you watch someone that's just like so good, and you're just like,
it shouldn't be this hard. I can't even get paint to come out of mine, and he's the blooming paint and shines on.
I doubt I'm gonna use them this week. Do you want to borrow my Vallejo air paints?
No, I won't. And the reason I won't, but thank you, but the reason I won't is because these are colours I've decided to do these Vespid with, that I'm going to have to learn to, I've got to have to learn.
Or you could at least, like, say with your...
Do you know what I did? I almost
have you got primer?
No. No, I primed them in
like rattle can primer.
Oh yeah, rattle can primer. Yeah, I sprayed them all like
so they're sprayed already.
Yeah, they were like grey sear.
Yeah.
Rattle can, and then I was going over them in jade.
Let me say, do yourself a favour.
Yeah.
Take the paints, not to spray your models, get a sheet of paper.
Just get the consistency down.
Because the thing you can't see in YouTube videos is it's not about how much or how little thinner. It's about seeing what right looks like, because that's what you've got to emulate. So the same as when we're dry brushing, it's like, look, this is what it looks like when it's right. It stipples off the brush and it doesn't streak and it doesn't feel chalky. The same with that. Take some pre-mixed airbrush paints, decent ones if you know which ones are good ones, because even then there's some shit ones in there. Know what good looks like, and then just try to emulate that consistency.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
That should once you've seen it, it's like glazing. Once you've seen someone do it and show you, yes, you're doing it right, you're going up the right path. So
okay, thank you.
I would do that,
and I would, I'd always. It requires more patience, but I'd always go too thin a paint than too thick.
Yeah,
very slightly. Yeah,
but just because, like, it's easier to flood the model. Like the mistakes I make when my paint's too thin is I'm like, is that even coming out? And then I put more pressure on, and then it just washes all into the recesses.
Do you know what I did the other day when I was in my complete panicking phase of cleaning it to the nth degree? Managed to, I spotted it thankfully, but I dropped the little rubber ring off the end of, and it bounced on the floor. And with my old man eyes, but my eyes went into like real birds of prey mode, and I instantly just, as it landed, it went off the table and bounced along the floor. And I went, I bear in mind it's a white ring on a white lino floor.
Ooh.
So, but I managed to just target lock it as it left me table.
Incredible.
So you guys are lucky. You're coming into this from like, oh yeah, I got the harder HD Big Ultra, which does so much of the airbrushing for you. It's unreal.
Yeah.
I got into it like I didn't have enough money, and I was writing reviews. I was like, will one of these work? And I got an £80 compressor that came with 2 free airbrushes. I got one airbrush with an under thingy siphon feed, which was like a big jug that sticks on underneath. So the amount of paint you had to put on there would paint an army just to get it to come out the nozzle.
Yeah.
And then the other one, which was gravity fed like these are, had a little bit on. I thought, I'll take it apart. And out here was a component you don't get on these anymore because it's actually built into this little nozzle bit. Is what I can only describe as, well, what I think the official term for is called the bastard spring.
I've heard of them.
Yeah. Because when I took this bit out, the bastard spring flew across my conservatory, and I have not seen it since. And I've moved out of that house, and I have stripped it bare, and I have not seen that ever again. So you guys are at least learning with these, but genuinely, like, I think once you see what consistency right is like, and literally don't spray the model, spray it on paper. If it's not coming out, then it's too or it's coming out spotty, it's generally too thick. If it's going
or if it's coming out that way, out the
or
cup.
if it's coming out that way, then you've got blowback. And if it's coming out and spraying like water, it's too wet, or your pressure's too high. So either turn your pressure down or thingy.
Right.
You've got to find that balance. Knowing what you're looking for helps to the nth degree. That's really what you need to see.
The reason I brought this up really was not just for the fact that you two guys are a wealth of knowledge compared to me, but also the fact is that there's probably must be somebody out there right now, the very same as me, who's literally just bought it and going, why isn't this working? You know, and I know you've done a really, really good video on it, and I watched Warwick and go, well, surely all of this will work. And you think, and already you pointed out something I hadn't thought of, was the fact that Warwick was 1-to-1 in it on a game air paint,
on like pre-thin paints already.
And, and I'm using Pro Aquarel, who is a paint range I increasingly do really, really like.
And I've heard they're well. They can go really well through an airbrush.
But I think what I'm doing is probably just
presumably just
thinning it enough.
Yeah,
maybe.
like try 2-to-1.
So do you know, in the next couple of days when I go back to the barber shop, and if I do manage to find a long enough point to maybe do a little bit of airbrushing, you know, if you just go, there's someone on the end of the phone and I can't understand the words, but I can hear this like intense level of sobbing.
That's you.
That's me phoning you. It's just somebody who's on the phone, love. I don't know. There's just it sounds like it might be a man just crying down a phone.
The bit I wanted to talk to about on
you know
this
where
topic,
my barber shop is? You might have to come up and see.
Yeah, well, I'm due a haircut.
Well,
so,
there we go.
Yeah.
There you go. Go in and just show. This is how you do it. It's okay, Geoff. Come in. Let me just do it for you.
No, because then he won't learn.
No, I know.
I'll do the first one for you.
Yeah, that's how it starts.
Yeah.
But no, like, it's interesting, like you say, like, where do you go? Because I think 4 or 5 years ago, when, you know, Warhammer was getting bigger again and the YouTube scene of Warhammer was growing, like, airbrushing was a big thing. And I think ever since Slapchop, the term Slapchop came along, because I think, you know, that technique we all know was used before that.
Yeah,
but,
it just got given a name.
It got given a name.
A catchy name.
A really catchy name. And I don't get where it came from. I need to look that up. I don't know. There is a device called a Slapchop, isn't there?
Yes.
But I don't understand how that's attached to this.
So I think that the Slapchop device is like a cutting device, and it's like a crisscross pattern. So as opposed to having like a kitchen knife, chef's knife, whatever, and cutting up your veg, you just put it underneath and go bam and cut it, and it's cut it once. But you can hit it a few times and it does it smaller. So it does it faster and easier, apparently.
So the connection is the faster and easier method. Slap chop is like, right. Okay, now I get it.
Okay.
Cool. Glad. I mean, everybody watching is like, that's obvious. We all knew that.
But then apparently the because there has to be controversy about everything.
Of course.
Yes. Apparently the chap that did the infomercial got arrested. I don't know what he did, but apparently it wasn't great. So there's the association with that, which I don't know.
Okay.
Tell me that now with me. Tell me that now with me slap chop t-shirt that I've got.
Yeah, that's it. Like I really
Okay, I don't feel like that's something I want to Google. I like happy things in the world.
Yes.
But yeah, so since Slapchop came along, like when I got into it, I was like, oh, people are painting amazing. How do I paint? And even my wife said, get an airbrush. There's obviously airbrush. So she'd heard me whinging about airbrushes.
Yeah.
And then me whinging about how people are better painters. And she was like, well, obviously you need an airbrush. And I'm like, oh, cool. Well, that seed was planted and I forgot I'd planted it. Am I allowed to buy an airbrush? Yeah, cool. Right, fine. So I got one on Christmas. So I don't think airbrushing's as popular anymore as it used to be because there are easier and faster. Because airbrushing was the faster method, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was the more known, faster method of, well, you don't need to do that. You just airbrush it, and then you airbrush your zenithal highlight, and then you just do the fun bits.
Well, what got me making the final decision for it was the fact that I was going to start to paint these Vespids, and I decided on doing them, which is, to be fair, looks quite nice. Is I've decided to do them like a turquoise sort of colour.
Yeah.
And I used the jade as like the base.
Yeah.
And then I've sort of been dry brushing up and highlighting up onto this like light turquoise colour. And what I then did was I did the membranes of the wings in like quite a really vivid orange.
Yep.
So they stand out against each other quite nicely. And I painted the first one, and then I thought, I don't know anybody that does a jade rattle can. And at the time, I don't think Colourforge had one.
I think Army painted it.
Army painted.
I think I've got some.
Right. So, and then I was like,
could have saved you some money.
I know, yeah. Saved me like over nearly 300 quid. So it was like, and I went, and I painted one. And I went, oh, do you know what? I don't think I've got it in me to paint another 9 of these. And then I in my barber shop, if you don't book an appointment within an hour, you can't have that next time. If that makes sense. Say like I've got an appointment at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
If you try to book that appointment at 1 minute past 4, it won't show you 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
it's too close. And I looked in my diary, and I had the last slot of the day was empty, which is 5 o'clock. And I looked in my phone, and I went, no one can now book that slot. It's dead.
Oh, okay.
And I'd literally finished painting the jade on this miniature, and I went, put it down. I went, right, and I got up and I drove into town and just went into Element Games and went, I want everything.
I love how we're in a hobby. Like we sat there earlier and we've had the argument. Like, yeah, okay, the starter set's cheap, but then you've got to go spending money and blah blah. Whereas this guy here, yeah, I couldn't find a jade green spray paint. Like Halfords doesn't exist, so I decided to spend 300 quid on an airbrush setup so I could use my $2.99 pot.
Don't forget, it wasn't real money.
Fair enough. Yeah,
it wasn't
that's
real
a good
money.
point. Yeah. You didn't have to explain it to anyone.
No, it was amazing that I could spend £300 on a hobby and not have to explain it to my wife.
Yeah.
What if she watches the show?
Well, still, you can't pay your electricity bill with Element Games credit.
No, and then we made sure that we talked about Jeff's frivolous spending after the 1 hour mark, where she's probably switched off.
Yeah,
fair point.
So that's how we do it.
Yeah.
So I think the Army paint spray I was thinking of is Hydra Turquoise.
Oh, that's relatively close. Yeah.
So like
the jade green bases. Yeah, I can see that going with that.
Yeah, but
nice.
Do they even
do that anymore? Because they changed all their colours, and I don't know if the sprays have now gone fanatic-y.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't care to look it up either.
But then also, I love priming with an airbrush because the finish is just
well. That is the one
wonderful.
thing I thought to myself. Do you know
great.
if in my brain, I'm going to learn to be Henry Good of going. I'm going to do a whole cloak on this Space Marine using an airbrush. But I also thought to myself, do you know, even if I never get that far, it's like, I don't have to get cold. I don't have to worry about the weather. I don't have to worry about
heating up your cam
smelly, drying miniatures. You know, I'm quite happy to spray outside, but then you have to bring the miniature in, and then then your home, or in my case, your shop, still smells of the aerosol anyway once you brought it in.
Yeah.
And I thought, and any colour of rattle can I need, I now have. Coming through an airbrush. So I thought, even if it never gets any better than basing,
then it's
still there.
Saves you money in the long run.
But that isn't what I want. I want to be able to get to the point that I'll go, I'll put a highlight down with this. So that's where I want to be at. And the nice thing as well about the Harder and Steam Black Ultra is the fact that I can, without having to pull the trigger on an evolution, I can upgrade. You can almost turn your, not quite, but you can almost turn the Ultra into an evolution. You can change the novel, you can change the needle, you can,
that is a great thing about.
So, and that might be something I think about, in about 12, 13 years time from now, when I've managed to move on from just basing miniatures with.
We'll get you there. It's a pain. I think it would be nice to see, like, I mean, I'm thinking of doing some anyway, because in the 3D printing side of things, like, people are now going, it's weird. Like, I started the 3D printing channel, and it was mostly Warhammer people trying to get Warhammer cheap. But now there's a slew of people never touched of a miniature. They've probably heard of Warhammer, but they're just like, oh, what do you recommend for painting? So many of them have got, like, absolutely no idea, and it's like a new beginning again. So it's almost like where Warhammer's kind of the modern historicals. I say probably not like World War II tank dioramas and stuff. Are they historicals now? I don't mean Napoleonic war games. I mean like people who do diorama.
Like generally, I think historical wargaming is things that actually happened.
I mean modelling. Sorry, just modelling.
But still,
You know what I mean is, like, we're taking techniques that they've used for years, like oil, but like everyone's still like, oil washers do what? And they're like, yeah, mate, oil washers, like, are dead easy. You just apply it and it looks like oil.
And that one of that one of putting that Henry from Cult. Henry's doing well this episode. Henry from Cult Painters of, like,
as he always should,
where he puts the dots on. He puts the oil paint on dots and then brushes them through.
Like the dot filtering.
And apparently, like,
he's so good at
the World War II diorama guys have been doing that for time and memoriam of.
I saw one guy in a green tank put some tan.
He was in a green tank. He thought he'd have just painted at his table, wouldn't he?
Oh, Jesus Christ. So I saw one guy painting a green model tank.
Oh, thank you.
And he put, like, he did a load of different coloured dots. So he did, like, and I remember it was like on the front panel, he did like tan at the top, like a light beige or tan, then blue, then some yellow dots, then brown dots near the bottom. And he sort of did that. And this one single colour turned from, like, dusty sandy to, like, cool streaks with the blue to, like, yellow sunspots with the yellow, and then, like, brown dirt at the bottom. And I was
it's
just
wonderful,
like, how do I do that on a mini? And it turns out you can't, but it's really hard because of the scale. But but what I mean is, anyway, so we're now adopting all of the techniques that where basically most people are stealing from the older generation of diorama guys, from that, and then 3D printing people are now coming on and going, how do I paint these? So, like, they're going to be hungry. There you go, everyone. There's your future of content if you're worried where your Warhammer audience is going to go. But, yeah, like, people are like, how do I paint this? How do I paint that? And I was thinking of doing some beginner airbrush videos because I've got the Harder and Steam bits that I want to do video reviews for. Well, no, like, it'd help to understand the sort of questions you've got as a beginner, because I think the bigger.
But what you could do is just have me on the show and I'll just sob for 45 minutes and you just go, come on, Geoff, it's okay.
Yeah, I'll just be like this. Yeah, this Geoff tried airbrushing.
Just me surrounded by a box of Kleenex as well.
We'll not even do that. We'll put you in shadow, and, like, names and voices have been changed to protect the identity of the people involved in this.
What, like a computerized voice just says, like, hey up, Squire.
Don't know who that is.
Show me on the airbrush where it touched you. That sort of thing with, like, beginner stuff. But it'll be good. And I think the difficulty that making beginner guides as soon as you know something, you kind of, it clicks. Like, everyone always uses that phrase, don't they? It clicks, and it just clicks. But no one records what the click is for them.
No.
So
No, you're right.
You're either a beginner and you go through the journey, or you know what you're doing, in which case you forgot what it was like being a beginner. So trying to instruct beginners is so difficult because you've forgotten 90% of the things.
Yeah.
And even now in 3D printing, I'm like, I want to do some better beginner guides, but I'm like, I don't know that I can relate to beginners anymore. I don't know that I can be in the headspace of doing it, and I want to
like
be thorough.
ask the right questions.
And I want to be like, so I'll just be there like, oh, it's dead easy, just you know.
You actually need a beginner in, don't you? And I think, do you know what? I'm not normally a man who hugely gets who's normally really in the world of 3D printing, but I tell you what, at the moment, I think, do you know, it's really a good job I don't 3D print, because it's not something I want to do because I haven't the time, money, inclination, space in this old brain to do it. But God, if I had a 3D printer, I'd be blooming playing Trench Crusade.
I think
I've heard that's
the miniatures are
really
Trench
good.
Crusade?
Trench Crusade is a new game. It's currently on Kickstarter.
Is it like Space Crusade in trenches?
No, it's really grim. It's going back to the point of, imagine the time when the Christian knights were fighting in Jerusalem.
Oh, right, okay.
So it goes all the way back to that time period, and the knights accidentally uncover this cave, and they find these artifacts, and as they're studying them, what it actually does is they wake up like a demon who they start dealing with, and then what happens is then they accidentally, through their meddling, allow hell to open, right? And then what it does is it takes you all the way on to 1914 of what should be the First World War, but it's the First World War of different levels of Christian pilgrims and Christian armies and Islamic armies fighting against the entire armies of hell that have now come through.
I want to check this out.
And the miniatures,
Pat looking at it now.
The miniatures are absolutely amazing. I think it's a good job I don't have a 3D printer, otherwise I'd be playing a new game. They've put the initial rules out free.
Yeah.
People are already tournamenting this game. Yeah. It's played at basically roughly sort of kill team level, but it's really bizarre level of miniatures. Like they have something called an artillery witch, and it's almost like a floating figure with its hand like that, and literally is just a whole First World War artillery bomb just resting on its.
Okay, I need to.
I need to really bizarrely weird stuff.
It's been on Kickstarter for just over a day. It's already at 2 million quid.
What the?
Yeah. It's
is this by somebody is there a massive campaign behind it?
The guy who wrote it is the guy who wrote More Time.
Right, okay, right. So
yeah.
It's
and it's quite grimdark in its aesthetic.
Really grimdark.
You could draw some Krieg comparisons.
When we say grimdark, do we mean grimdark as in 40ks 32mm style miniatures, or are we talking
more the
grimdark,
aesthetic? I don't know the details.
Almost Lovecraftian.
There's a faction called Trench Pilgrims, and one of them literally looks like a walking church.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll check this out.
The one of the hell faction, if we call it, has basically humans that have a third of the world has fell to them. So it's basically got cultists, if you will, and then it's got the demonic. Then it's got hell's own army.
Yeah,
and then it also has one of their leading demon princes, for want of a better term, is funnily enough, is like Nurgle. He comes through with rot, and all of his army are all rotten and bizarre and mutated. And then on the other side, you've got the Islamic army, who, as you can imagine, are massively happy because they were all quite happily living in Jerusalem and knew that all of that stuff should be well left alone. And the Christian knights turned up, dabbled with it, and then killed where they live.
Oh, okay.
So they're involved, but aren't hugely happy to be dealing with the Christians because they've obviously didn't heed what was meant to be done. And then the Christians have got a proper army, and then they've got pilgrims who are people who've just picked up a weapon and got hold of some armor and come to the fight. But it looks. I'll give a really good shout out to Tabletop Time. Have just done an episode dedicated to it where they show lots of miniatures. They have an interview with the artist and they have an interview with the game designer, and they really go into really in depth about it, and it's a really good video. But I think it's a good job I don't have a 3D printer, otherwise I'd have another game.
You say
for me
that.
now to not to have enough time to paint.
Well, they're offering the physical
and they
miniatures.
offer physical prints as well. Yeah, they offer physical miniatures as well.
Yeah.
So I'm staying well away.
You say that, but I actually run a second channel. Not many people know this. I actually run a channel.
What's it called?
Faux Hammer.
Yeah.
FAUX, not FOE. It's a play on the word. Foxhammer might be more popular.
Yeah.
And on that channel, I actually review 3D printers and use my knowledge to recommend 3D printers to so people get the right ones, so they're not ripped off, and they get the right one for them with the budget they've got and the functions they want. I would recommend you don't get one.
No, I don't. Well,
I know you well enough.
Yeah, well, an airbrush is making me cry. So me having a 3D printer is not a very good idea.
I've seen you trying to open your email.
Yeah. Do you know, I can't even fight or argue with anything.
No, exactly. Like when we went to Germany, so the you got instead of having lanyards that normally get handed out on day one, you get a QR code on your phone, which was emailed to Geoff. So that was enough. So yeah, don't. I don't think 3D printers are your thing.
The best of it is, it's still in my wallet. Me spiel on. I haven't got
But
rid of it.
because he doesn't know how.
I don't know how to get rid of it. It's still there now. It'll be there for
It's fine. It'll be literally the end of time will just be cockroaches and Geoff's phone with an Essence Spiel 2024 QR code on it. But yeah, definitely you just buy the physicals.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah, it looks fun.
yeah.
I appreciate your honesty.
So I'm gonna, just so none of the audience are surprised, I'm gonna say next week I'm not gonna be here. I am going to. I know I'm ditching you bitches.
Who wouldn't?
To go to a 3D printing convention, which nobody here would care about. It is not like, everything 3D printed and all that and loads of 3D printed bottles. It's not. It's brands talking about 3D printers and here's what we've got on sale, and I'm going to be saying like, so what have you got coming for us in the future? And they're going to go, we can't say.
Do you know the really interesting bit as well is that whenever we think about 3D printers, we're thinking miniatures that are good stand-ins for Warhammer or this, or like Trench Crusade, full games that are going to be using 3D printed miniatures, or you can buy physicals for, as you said, and all of this thing of what we think of 3D printing about. But it's madness that's just, we forget sometimes that people use 3D printers for actual important, real grown-up stuff. Don't they?
Yeah,
and I give an example of this. I give a real-world example of this that sort of shows you where technology is moving on. One of my customers came in the other day and he had a plumber around doing something, and I don't know, it was something to do with his boiler or something. And he was like, and he said, and my customer went in and went, are you okay? And he went, no, he said, I'm going to have to get a particular part. And he went, all right. Then he went, hang on. He said, don't suppose you've got a 3D printer, have you? And he went, no, why? And he went, he said, because if you had a 3D printer, he said, I could have just got you to print it off for me, and then I could have fitted it. He says, whereas now I'm going to have to charge you for the part.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
But in my brain, it's going, I wonder if someone could print me out a series of small walls. You know what I mean? And there's people in the grown-up world going, can you print this? Can you actually print this print out that goes in a boiler? You know what I mean? And I think,
can you imagine if that plumber went to Ross's house? And he'd be like, FDM, resin, what kind of resin?
Do you want me to just print the boiler?
Yeah. do you want ABS, PETG, PFA is not a thing, I just made it up. PLA, that's the one I was trying to think of. What's the other one?
What are you asking me for? I can't work my phone.
PVA.
Yeah, PLA.
PVA.
Oh, PVA?
Yeah.
Print with glue? Yeah.
Genuinely can, that's not even a joke.
Chocolate.
Really?
Yeah.
Print with chocolate.
So you can do PVA.
Yes, you can print with chocolate.
PVA as a material, as a bonding material between layers. So it's very soluble.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can print with it so that between two layers, it's so that your support's just away.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's PVA.
So
I might have heard of something else and made it up.
So when you go to Frankfurt, then there is going to be grown-ups talking about how to use a 3D printer.
So I have to do a speech.
Okay.
Elegoo have asked me to do 2 speeches with a PowerPoint presentation. I'm like, I don't know how to use PowerPoint, and I haven't written them, and they wanted them tomorrow. And I'm like,
Well, you go home and get them done. Yeah.
yeah, I can, I suppose, but yeah, I'm not.
Obviously,
Just say 3D printing, good.
Yeah, so I'm going to do two. I'm going to do a speech on how 3D printing, 3D printing is changing the landscape of miniatures.
Yeah.
Because I know something about that, and the future of 3D printing. Well, I'm just going to talk about what I'd really like to come to 3D printers in the future. So thanks, Elegoo. I hope everyone enjoys that. All 20 people. Like last year, they had I think they had Uncle Jesse and a few other people, and maybe they don't want to put their hands in their pockets this time and pay them, so they've got me. So brilliant. Oh, well done.
I hope it's getting recorded.
I'm going to be recording it. I'm taking all my camera gear because I want to interview. They were like, "Oh, and would you mind interviewing us at the booth?" And I was like, "Well, I was going to do that anyway for me, for my content." But I want to ask people what they are. But it's been a weird, like the thing I wanted to talk about. Like I'm releasing a video which is hopefully Wednesday, and I did one last year, the best 3D printers of the year, which basically recaps every review I've done on resin printers. Yeah, I've done an FDM one this year, but it's more like how reliable and trustworthy the brands are more than anything. Yeah. But what I noticed this year, and it's weird, last year it was dead easy. I was like, this printer's this much, or these are in this ballpark and this price, but I think this one's the best in this category, and I think this one. And what I've noticed this year is, and I don't know if this is going to be my thumbnail yet, they're all shit. Like,
bold statement.
Yeah, I know. Like, and I'm obviously like for clickbait, and I'm sorry, I hate clickbait, but if I don't do it, somebody else will, and they'll get the views, and I won't. And I do think the videos are good. I put a fucking lot into them, but like, and I don't mean all printers. They're not all shit. They're all really good. But we've now kind of beyond peaked that quality level in terms of printing on pretty much every size category of printer from 6-inch through 10-inch to 13-inch.
And that's like, the size of the screen.
The size of the screen in diagonal, generally. Nothing else.
Like a TV.
Yeah, exactly. So generally, those are your sizes. I haven't seen any larger ones than that. And the quality in most of them, apart from some of the large ones, is pretty much on par. Like you are splitting not only hairs, but like
as long as you're not splitting atoms.
No, not quite. No, not yet. God, can you imagine when you get them at home? But
you're like, Hucknall is gone.
Yeah,
it was a nuclear exposure.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, you are literally splitting fractions of hairs between these printers now, and it's less about the screen size and accuracy. But what I've noticed this year's been interesting, because everything up till this year, it was like, printer does print. 3D printer did go burr. That's all 3D printer did, it go burr. Now they go burr with Wi-Fi, or this one go burr, but it tilt. But this one go burr with a heater.
Yeah.
And it's really easy for somebody to have come along and gone, well, that's the best of that, and that's the best of that, and have put it together to make the one.
But it hasn't happened yet?
But it hasn't, and none of them have.
Okay.
And the path was laid for them. So it's like, you've got Elegoo with this tilting bed, is really fast, really sharp, super high quality. I love it. I think it's fantastic. But the bed is shit. Like, so you'll either get, your base layers will be uneven, and it gets resin all over the place and on top, and it's got a really shitty grip, so you can't hold on to it. So that's its butt. Then you've got your Anycubic, which out of the box is fast, but because they use this certain type of release film, and again, I'm talking more for miniatures and small models, you will get some surface detail because there's grain on the release film that will then transfer through to the model. Oh. So you get like this
lumpy,
especially on
bumpy
vertical surfaces. And again, it's slight, but it's there. This grainy surface. So if you want the detail, the first thing you need to do is swap that. So you've got to buy the printer, then dick around swapping with it. Then you lose the speed because that film is what gives it its speed. So you're like, so that's its butt.
So that's that. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then you've got one that I can't talk about until next Sunday. And its butt is that it's really high quality, but the screen is smaller. And it hasn't got any of the smart features like pressure sensing to go, ooh, there's not enough resin in here, or ooh, you've left your last print on here and I'm going to smash through your screen. Or, you know, all the other things. Or, ooh, as I lift, I can't feel any pressure, which means I'm not stuck to the build plate, which means you've probably had a print fail. And I'm like, oh, yes, I have. I'll start that one again. Really good features. So it hasn't got any of that smart stuff. So it's got a but. Or you've got the Hey Gears one, which is the best printer. It's got all these features. It's amazing. It does all this. But it uses proprietary resin, which is the biggest problem of all of them for most people. So it's like there is no best printer.
So proprietary resin, for those that don't know, am I correct in thinking that it forces you to use their resin?
Pretty
you can't
much,
use other brands.
You can use other brands. It does work, but you can't with that printer. You cannot dial it in like you can with other printers. So normally you go this lift speed, that exposure setting, that. You can't do any of that. So it works with their resins. Their resins are dialed in not only with those settings, but more so that it knows like these are the required pull force for that thing. And it's dialed in down to a degree beyond any of the other brands even slightly help you put in yourself with their own resins.
Side note.
But they are very much strongly encouraging you use our resin, which is quite expensive for the majority of the materials. But as other people, like if you know Rising Ape, and there's a guy called Greedy 3D who isn't in our hobby wheelhouse, but Greedy 3D especially, they've both shown you can pretty much pour any other resin into it and it will work, but you can't then dial it in down to be perfect. But people hate this printer because let me be open, let me do this. But then at the same time, the bit where I do still scratch my head is like, well, if it was open, like the biggest benefit of this printer is it's fully dialed in for you. So if they did open up, then how is it better than any other printer other than slightly better hardware?
Is it sort of like almost like Apple, like they're like a very closed system? I
think that's how they're trying to position themselves. Like, don't get me wrong, I want to be clear, I would much rather have control of my own settings so that I can go, oh, if anything fails, I can just up my exposure time a bit, because I don't care if I lose a little bit of detail. It's a little bit of detail, I'll get a successful print. But they don't want successful print. Their goal through an ecosystem that they're building is we want you to have the best prints. They're not trying to compete against all the other consumer printers. They're trying to compete in the prosumer, like against a company called Formlabs, who are like the next big known consumer prosumer that's like a $4,000 printer.
Oh, wow.
So they're trying to be in that spot between, but obviously you've then got all the people who can afford a Formlabs, well, why would I buy one of them? A few people have actually gone, oh, actually, that's a lot cheaper and it does pretty much the same thing, I'll buy that. But I say everyone, I'm talking generally, the majority of people in the consumer space are very, why would I pay that much? And it's like, well, you don't, is the answer. Don't pay that much. Definitely don't. Go and get an Elegoo or an Anycubic and be bloody happy with it, because they're as I said, they're amazing. But everything's got a but. There's a but.
Everything this year's got a big but.
Yeah, everything's got a huge but. Like me.
So then maybe next year something will come out with all the features, but it'll be ludicrously expensive.
I think that'd be okay. Like, I don't think the expense is the biggest thing. I think if it's got everything people want, they'd pay for it. Yeah. Like the GK2 was like £800 to £1,000. That thing there, was £800 to £1,000. And when you look at it now, it's kind of like, it's decent, but there are more technically advanced printers now worth £400.
That's hilarious, because like I guess. That's really not like that old, but 3D printing is progressing at such a rapid rate that it really is. Are we currently in 3D printing in like the kind of VHS versus Betamax, DVD,
and we're still waiting on one to become like
and like Blu-ray and HD DVD and that kind of thing?
I don't know, like that's...
You know what you need to answer that question,
do you mean like
don't you?
with resin versus FDM or something? Like one will win?
No, like maybe like the kind of like I guess the most adopted sort of way of doing things. So like, I guess it's going to be different.
I don't even think we're there. Like, this is the weird thing about 3D printing. Like when you first got a HD DVD or a Blu-ray player, the technology was done and it was delivered to you.
Yeah.
And it was like, right, try that or try that. And I actually bought into HD DVD like a day. I've got a signed copy of Heroes by the two main lads who did The Brothers.
Yeah.
The cheerleader and the cheerleader's dad, signed by all of them in HD DVD. And literally I got that by chasing them around London, and then season 2 came out and I was like, oh my god, this is so good, it's so valuable. And then within 6 months the TV show flopped and HD DVD died. So it is my most personally valuable.
I don't think it's quite the same because isn't when it comes to visuals, Blu-ray, HD DVD, VHS and Betamax, you can't really apply it to the same ruling system with 3D printers, is because with visual it's whichever one pornography adopts.
Oh, god damn it, I was going to say that. Yeah. Like,
I think that's true, isn't it?
It is true,
I'd heard that somewhere.
Historically, whichever side the adult industry went with,
that was the one
that won.
Yeah.
So far, I have seen more adult resin prints than FDM.
Well, there you go. There's your answer. There we are.
Yeah,
I figured that argument out.
Because them boobs got to be detailed.
Yeah. Oh god, is that really? How it's going to be?
There we go. That's it.
But yeah,
there you go.
Like resin's a thing. Like resin is something where we still don't know the dangers of it. You've got to, like, I print in my garage. I had to both type and be in the same room as 3D printers yesterday. So I had my ventilation running all day and my mask on all day. I was sweaty on a freezing cold winter day, and I was there just like mask breathing all day, which has got its own outside feed now. So I'm literally breathing in fresh air.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, like that sort of thing. You've got to do stuff like that. But yeah, as for where we're going, I think we are literally in a stage where we are beta testers. Like, and where we are is there's a divide in the FDM community. That's the plastic community.
Yeah.
The plastic printers. There's a divide in that community, which has now just come into the resin community. So in the plastic community, you've got your tinkerers and your makers, and there's some grey area in between. Your tinkerers are your people who love 3D printers and the technology of them as essentially hot end CNC machines that are for additive manufacturing. You've got the people who design stuff, they're kind of on the side and cross over. Then you've got your makers, and your makers don't care about 3D printers. They want your 3D printer to be like a toaster or a microwave and go, I like thing printed good. And I'm one of those.
Yeah, I'm definitely in that category.
Yeah,
that's what I would like. I would like 3D printers will interest me when I can pick up my phone, go to a miniatures company and go, oh, they are cool.
Yeah.
Click. And then the next thing, it's Bluetooth.
It's printing off.
And it's printing off.
Control
you know
P.
what I mean? Yeah.
Like you
Well, not even that.
Yeah.
I just go buy. Yeah. And then it goes buy and print now. Yes, print now. Yeah. And then it's off, you know.
See,
that's where I want to be.
I'm scrolling through
How long away do you think that is?
5 to 10 years.
Do you think?
I think it's easily 10. We'll have that in 10. But again, what do I know? I'm guessing based on how I can see. What's probably going to get to stopping it is going to be patents more than anything.
Yeah.
Because when it starts getting into this really clever stuff, the big companies who have been kind of dominating in industrial for a while will start going, we've got a patent on that. And
or like the real winners will be like the Microsofts of the world, where they'll license out their software to have the phone to shop like to print technology or whatever.
So if you want to make money in the future, start building some middlewares now.
I say teaching coding. They've taught coding in like primary schools for ages, haven't they? Yeah.
But that's it, and it's interesting. So we're right now, we're in the, I don't know what it is, like the golden age, the silver age. I want to say it's the dicking around age. We are in the dicking around age of 3D printers, where we will.
So it's like, should we stick a heater in there, mate?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, you know, and it's even things like that. Like, I honestly thought with how much the GK2 dominated, or sorry, not dominated, but was beloved for its price due to its inclusion of the heater and the way it was smart. Like, the smartest thing that did was make the screen removable with you literally do 4 screws, take it out, undo a ribbon cable, replace it. Now, considering the screen is a consumable part, there you go. The Saturn 4 Ultra, amazing machine, I love it. To replace the screen in it, the most common part is a full teardown. I think the video by Elegoo's 40 minutes long. And bear in mind that's their step by step, not your
doing it,
having to figure it out.
It'll take hours.
It will, yeah, your first time.
Yeah.
And then, so by the time you won't replace a screen on that.
No.
So that's something that, I didn't know that at the time, because I presumed that the screen, and I'm not going to start taking every 3D printer apart to do reviews, but why would I assume anything other than it was a case of, well, you'd need to take a couple of bits out and pop it out from behind? Yeah. Because anything else would be fucking stupid. Oh, look, it's fucking stupid. So we're dicking around. So things like, like Uniformation do some really clever things. Elegoo have done really smart thing. They've stayed quite consistent, which has been good for them. Anycubic have had a dip in the last generation, but have now really shot back up. Creality don't know how to make a resin printer. They just don't. It's not their audience. They're a decent to okay FDM printer company. They don't understand the importance of user experience. And things like that. But these are all things I'm going to talk to them about next week. But I think we are getting closer to easier. I think the next things we need to really overcome, there's threefold. The most advancements now will come from software, not hardware.
Yeah.
Or at least in terms of improving the hardware. So we've pushed screen resolution. We've now gone beyond diminishing returns. So screen resolution can stay where it is right now. We need to improve the software. We might add more pieces of hardware in, more heaters, more sensors, just for success and things like that. But those sorts of things are where we're going to be heading in the future, is just more sensibility. But the main things we need to sort out to really make this more mainstream is, once we've done all those sensors and automation, is the fume extraction, which somebody needs to. People keep making these devices where, it filters into, like Elegoo, pump all the air out of the printer over a big carbon block and then into your room. Whereas the one that stays, the little USB one that stays in the printer, at least recycles what's in the printer, because you're not going to catch all the bad things on a first pass. It's stupid. So the way I imagine they tested that was they put it in a chamber and then went, it got rid of all the VOCs after an hour. Yeah, it will in a chamber, not
in someone's
house. It just pumps them into the house. But, it was enough for them to go thumbs up. We need somebody to pump this stuff outside. So find somewhere, somebody kind of like a duct for an air hose, or some way to connect it up to your outlet vents for like your washer or something. If you've got a dryer or something like that. Somebody needs to do that. And the other one is cleanliness. There needs to be a cleaner way of handling this shit. Because, if I've had it on my skin 2 or 3 times and I've then forgot and not washed it off, gone out in the sun, and it's been and I have been scratching layers deep.
Oh, because
I have a scar because it eats. It's not good.
No, it's horrible stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not good for the environment. You can't, and you can't just pour it away either. No,
that's the other thing. Like I genuinely think within 3 to 5 years it'll be regulated and stopped. I honestly,
What, like resin?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Once genuinely, like once, and this is something that's really only occurred to me the last couple of days. But like, this isn't good stuff, and it's not good for the environment. And once and if this gets popular enough and the government like notices how much of this shit is going uncured into rubbish dumps rather than doing what you're supposed to do, which is curing it all off and sending it out,
and God forbid out of it going down sinks
sinks, people washing water washable resin down sinks. It's happening. I can't point fingers.
No, of
and
course
it's not, and I'm not even saying it's maliciously, but if you agree, water washable,
Yeah.
Oh, cool. It's safe in the water then.
We all know that the quality of the rivers and waterways in the UK at the moment is tip top.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to start adding resin to it because that would be awful.
So, but yeah, there you go. And it's these sort of things. I don't know that this is going to be safe much longer. But as other people have shown, and I've done on videos as well, you can make pretty decent FDM miniatures. Nowhere near the quality of resin. You'll still see the layer lines, but if you don't care about quality and you just want to have some fun tabletop drinking,
then that's a better way of doing it.
It's better, it's safer, it's I wouldn't say easier, because you're not going to get detailed things with tiny little like extremities, because you can't support them in FDM yet. Maybe we'll get there, but who cares if you enjoy it and they're good enough for you on your table? Fuck it, have fun. Yeah. Right, anyway, there's my rant.
No,
I think we're over the 2 hour mark now, so I reckon
shall we probably, we'll finish off then with...
What else did we have?
We've got Christmas.
Oh, the Christmas boxes.
Yeah, so Warhammer Community showed us what we had, and sort of go through them in order, I think, is probably the best way to have it. And I'm really pleased to start with the miniatures, a diorama that was... I think it came out when we were at Spiel, it was announced, is tying into the next Kill Team release is a couple of rattlings, and it's on a piece referred to as provisionally prepared. It's a nice little model. I really like it. 2 rattlings. One's doing his best to be stealthy and figure out what he's going to shoot with his sniper rifle, and his mate's desperately trying to feed him.
Yeah.
And I really like it, and I like the fact that the sniper's got his finger up to his lip and going, for the love of God, Steve, pack in.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do this job.
And there's a cup of tea on the top.
He's got a cup of tea on the top of the scenery. His mate's trying to offer him some sort of German sausage whilst also holding a bottle of beer or wine in the other hand.
Yeah.
I really love it, because it really feeds into hobbits of always eating and all the rest of it, and you get the occasional hobbit who is focused on trying to do his job, and the rest of them are just,
I want the other model. Like, who's he saying shh to? Like, he's looking over the way going...
I think he's saying shush to his mate while trying to look out to the
someone to blast.
Yeah, and I like it. It's a nice piece, and the fact that it will then, like I say, tie in to the new release of the Rattlings. I would just say, if you haven't seen them, because they are very quick off the mark, there is a company called Station Forge who do lots of really nice stuff that's generally...
could potentially be proxy.
Yeah, it's very much bangs on the door of 40k. They have already made all of the Rattling snipers, all of the Rattlings from Kill Team, the radio guy, the ammo guy, all the rest of them. They've already made them, and they have them for sale.
Oh my God.
And what they've done with theirs is they've done their Rattlings where they've leaned into them being Austrian. So they've all got a lot of them have got little Austrian trilbies on. Like, their sergeant is standing there smoking an enormously big pipe, and they've sort of leaned into doing them as if they're sort of slightly Germanic looking.
Yeah,
and they're really good. But the speed that Station Forge get to work on doing stuff, that is very Station Forge, but ultimately very 40k at the same time.
Yeah,
theirs are really nice. I do like this, and I do like GW's Rattlings, and we'll probably buy that 40k expansion, that Kill Team expansion when it comes out. Because my son, I think, has got his eyes on the orcs that are going to be in that. So.
Yeah, they look quite fun.
Cool, but I think as a little novelty piece, I think that's quite a nice little miniature there. I like it.
It really, that sort of thing really goes to show why we all sat there and whinged about, like, I say we all sat there and whinged. I whinged about, like, the Nova Open, the reveal of, like, oh yeah, our roadmap, and it was like, it wasn't a roadmap, it was just a load of words.
Yeah.
That's why, like, if they...
It's less of a road... Games Workshop released less of a roadmap and more of a cul-de-sac, I thought.
If they'd done this, if they'd gone... Like, they told us what was coming. Imagine they'd gone, and here's the picture of Fuegan.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Whatever, the Eldar... No, the new Eldar guy.
Oh, yes. I'm not
assuming Darren Latham sculpted him. He is stood on a rock.
It may be.
Yeah.
Well, if he didn't, you know that he was the very least, part of the team.
Part of the team, that's it. Well, we don't even know that much, do we?
No.
But either way, whoever sculpted him, fantastic sculpt, incredible. Some people are already online doing, here's my version
doing
of the
copies of it.
exact same thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay. I can't, like, people are going to do it. I can't argue, because then I'm a dick to the people who disagree with the GW pricing structure, and I'm not going to support it either, because there's still an artist who's designed that, like, incredible Fuegan model, and they deserve some recognition of their incredible work. And I'm like, so I feel torn when I see this sort of stuff.
I like people making prints. Yeah.
I mean, some proxies, I don't know where my line is. Some proxies I'm okay with because I like the look of them myself. But
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing with Station Forge. Yes, they are basically
I'm really
copying.
sorry, I need to take this call.
Yeah, no worries. Right then, so looking at the Christmas boxes, we've decided that instead of waffling away about all of them, because none of them are really particularly new miniatures, we've just chosen one each that we like. Right then, Ross, we'll give it to you.
I want a couple of them now. I've looked through. Sorry,
Okay.
I want to like Sisters of Battle, but I wish there were more sisters, not the flagellants.
The Sister Battle one, as I'm now calling the Sisters of Battle half marathon, because virtually everything in it is running.
Very good. I like the tanks, but I'd just buy the 2 tanks. Like, I don't like knights. I've got enough Necrons. I'd want the Tau guy, but I only want the big one. So yeah, Dark Angels. The Orcs is nice. The Orcs ones are
For
good.
Sigmar.
Is that Sigmar Orcs?
Sigmar
Yeah.
Orcs,
Oh yeah, I quite like that. I've not done enough orcs, but yeah, Dark Angels, Inner Circle. What is it? 10 Terminators, 6 Roby guys,
A chaplain.
and a chaplain, and
the
is
lion.
that-
And the Lion.
Oh, I thought that was Belisarius. And 1,
No.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, you're right.
I think-
so yeah, all them brilliant.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
for me, because I have a Deathwing army.
The only thing you haven't got there in that box
was-
already is the Lion, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Well, I don't have the Inner Circle.
Oh yeah, you don't have the Inner Circle yet.
companions, so that
yeah.
you can always have more Terminators, can't you? So that
Never have
for
too
me,
many of them.
and it feels like a decent amount of miniatures that are actually like worth a decent whack.
Yeah.
So,
I want to paint every model in that box. I have already. The lion is one that breaks my heart, because my first ever, when Firehammer.com joined the influencer program, they sent me the lion. I was like, oh my God, I love Dark Angel. My first thing's the lion. And it was the first one where I was like, I'm going to paint this and showcase it off. But I did this stupid idea of doing it in chrome. I thought, and it looked amazing. It looked brilliant. And I was like, brilliant. The whole model was chrome. And then I'm going to mask it off and paint these bits. And then I couldn't get the chrome off. I couldn't get the masking off because I used that liquid mask.
Oh, yeah.
But I couldn't ask anyone because I was like, what can you do? And I asked one guy, who was like, oh, well, show me the model. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah,
and they're
because you get
"Why
done
not?"
for leaking
and I'm
it.
like, and again, back then, I'm like really nervous. And now, thankfully, I know a wider range of people who are also in the program, so I can talk to the odd few. And I was like there, and then I posted it on the day going, this is how far I got, and I really need help, and I did that. But because it was the lion, and that was the one where no one could get it, like within 10 minutes, I got crucified. And that's kind of what started my journey of, I don't really like Warhammer anymore. Like I'm not as thick-skinned as I purport to be. So, I don't like...
people were annoyed that you did a
Well, yeah, because people weren't
undeserving.
complaining that
get it.
they were taking it out on the influencers that they all had it, and that was the problem.
Which I get, because had I been on the other side of the fence, I'd have been pissed off as well.
Yeah.
Like, I do get it. I'm not trying to shit on anyone's opinion. Like, there weren't enough of them is the thing. It wasn't because the influencers got them all. I think, 50 in total, maybe 200 in total.
and he was in like a separpt box at the time, wasn't he?
He
like
was in a box
with, the blade guards.
with just blade guards.
Yeah, it was quite
that
bizarre.
was it. Yeah. But it was really good. But yeah.
So would Dark Angels
Dark
be yours
Angels.
as well?
Dark Angels is my pick for 40k. Sigmar, it would essentially be what army would I like to start making? So either Flesh Eater's Courts or Iron Jaws.
Yeah, for me, I think as I've always liked them, I'd go Sisters. And then I would go.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, no.
It's got another phone call.
Bye.
Right, we'll just
finish without you.
Without me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye, Ross. I would go Sisters, I think, because I do quite like Sister Battle, but I think Ross is right. Not enough sisters in it.
Yeah.
Just everybody else but.
Yeah. I love the penitent engines. I think.
Yeah, they are very cool.
Yeah.
But I've got to be honest, that I'm becoming a bit of a closet Cities of Sigmar fan.
Yeah.
And that's a really nice box.
They do look really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that would be if Santa was to turn up with a sack.
Yeah.
I think I'd be quite happy if they were in.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
And then, I think the last thing I was going to mention was, I think a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I've no idea what's going on in this Beckwin novel.
Yes.
I realised that I missed an Eisenhorn novel because there's a fourth one outside of the trilogy called Magos. So I listened to that, and there's one sentence in it that then makes the Beckwin novels make a bit more sense.
Oh, was Magos like a collection of short stories? Was it short stories and then a novella at the back of it?
It's a short story and then like a full-length novel.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just listened to the novel. I haven't listened to all the short stories.
Oh, right, okay.
Because I was like, I want to carry on with Beckwin just knowing enough.
Yeah.
So there was one sentence in Magos that made everything make a bit more sense.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Pleased.
So, and then I'm on book 2 of Beckwin now.
Enjoying them?
Yes.
Yeah. Are they still read by Toby Dudar?
Yes, Toby Longworth, yeah.
Thank you. I never
No, they're not. Of course they're not. I can't remember the name of the voice actor, but it's a
woman.
A woman.
I wonder whether it's the same woman who did Spears the Emperor.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. But she's very good. It's quite interesting having her do the voices of the other characters that I'm so used to.
Yeah.
Like Eisenhorn, Ravener, Patience Kiss. She does like Harlan Nail and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's quite good. But enjoying it, definitely. It was interesting, like having the two trilogies, they kind of had their sort of closing points. So having them sort of carry on is a little bit weird, but it's fine.
All right.
Oh.
Yeah, we've just been talking Black Library novels.
I know, I was here the whole time.
Yeah.
So I'm ready for a new one now, and I don't know whether I'm going to just carry on with my journey of doing another Gaunt novel or give them a rest and do something else. I don't know. I can't quite make my mind up at the moment, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I have a Black Library story. So I went on holiday, took my Kindle, my new Kindle. Remember we talked about
Yes,
this?
we did. Yeah.
Right, I'm going to finish my book. Yeah. Started reading my book. Remembered I forgot everything in the previous book. So then spent an entire evening reading a synopsis of the previous book, which is Red Rising books. Well, technically, books 4 and 5. Started reading book 6. Managed to get through 3 chapters.
Nice.
In the whole holiday.
Amazing.
Because like you sat there by the pool, aren't you? And and then like you'll know, you won't know. Grow up. When you've got kids, like you want to relax by the pool.
Yeah, that's.
But it does not happen.
No,
because they'll probably kill themselves.
Yeah, or someone else.
Yeah.
So like my favourite bit was like we got some inflatables. My son's jumping through an inflatable ring hoop.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant, but of course, like, because that's as a kid, that's so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
But me as a parent, I'm like, if he lands on the rim of that, and then it propels him, he's going to slip backwards and crack his head open on the side.
Yes.
So I'm like, and I always said I wanted to be one of them dads who was like a cool dad and like let them have fun and do all this, but I also want to relax. Like now that I'm here, now that I'm on the other side, I'm like,
I've been that dad, and then had to be the dad who sat there and thought, what is that amazing? This was in the Netherlands. Thought, what is that extraordinary loud screeching and howling noises I watched my eldest child when he was about 9, crawling out of a lake on all fours, having broken 2 or 3 metatarsals in his foot because he jumped off a jetty on the shallow side, not the deep end, and managed to
just hit the floor.
Yeah. So yes, Yeah, so your ability to relax when your children are near water is massively low. Yeah.
Like I remember in my younger dad days when I was in like my early 30s, I was like, I'd sit there and I'd see the danger happening and I'd be like, right, and then suddenly I'd do the math, you know, like the meme where you see the the numbers.
Yeah.
It'd be like, right, how much damage is this going to cause, and do I allow it to happen in order for them to learn the lesson, or do I do such and such? And with my daughter, it's like, okay, I'll kind of do that. My son is like me, 100% on the spectrum. He will not learn from anything that he does. Like he's almost like Homer Simpson's, like, ow, that's with the cactus, ow, 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 like just over and over again. So I constantly have to watch him
analyze his danger level.
Darrow was going into the. Darrow was going into the. Darrow was going. You know, and it's like I've read this
that
page
was you for 2 weeks.
It was. It genuinely was. 3 attempts to read most pages.
Brutal.
But new Kindle, really nice.
Cool. Excellent.
Right then.
I think
anything else?
there.
That's us done.
Yeah.
Yeah, long show, but good show.
Sorry for the interruptions.
It's okay. You've got an important phone call to make.
Any topics we didn't?
No, we covered.
Covered everything. I think we were going to say what we were watching on telly. I've been watching a lot of Modern Family. There we go.
I'm Taskmaster and as well, the same as this chap.
I've started from the beginning because I've missed a load of series.
Yeah. Doing some Taskmaster, waiting on new series of things. New series of The Silo from Apple to start.
I need to watch season 1 of that.
Season 2.
Read the book, guy. We keep talking about books. Read Wool, Shift, and Dust. So good.
Season 2 of Bad Sisters on Apple, which I'm waiting to start as well.
Has anybody been? Not many people have it. Scow. Now. It used to be Now TV or Now Movies. It's just called Now. Stupid. On Now is The Penguin.
It's meant to be excellent.
Oh, wonderful.
It's meant to be really
that's
good.
Yeah,
apparently, like it was critic or a headline I read that could be out of date or wrong. Said critics rating it the first ever Rotten Tomatoes 100%.
Yeah, it's meant to be very good. And also the remake on Now. Oh well, it's on Sky, but Now is I quite fancy the remake of Day of the Jackal as well.
Oh yeah, I've seen an advert for that.
I've got to be. The only problem with assassin TV shows and films is they just annoy me because I just get really jealous because I quite fancy the hours.
Yeah.
And on that point,
fantastic. What's I watching? I'm watching Rivals on Disney Plus.
Oh,
that's
quite
fun. So it's about David Tennant runs like a regional sort of franchise of ICV, like in the 80s. So it starts off like they're coming back from the US on Concorde, and there's lots of alcohol and nudity, and it's just sort of like the Wild West of TV.
Based on Jilly Cooper on a Jilly Cooper novel.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like yuppie excess, and everyone hates each other and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
I something you've watched it. Yeah. I tried to watch the what's it called? There's something. It's on Netflix, and it's your typical teen future. You know, like Hunger Games. Then they did the Divergent series, which was terrible. Now they've done one called like Pretties or something, or body or something. Is it? But I don't know what it is.
Apparently they get surgery to be made.
Yeah, like at a certain
really
age, you get surgery to be made pretty, and then the lead actress is in there, and it's like that's got to be for anybody watching that show who feels they're mildly unattractive. Then they watch her, who's already pretty good looking, be like, "Oh, I'm not beautiful." It's like, "Yes, you are. What the fuck?"
Oh, yeah.
And then be like, "Oh, that's got to be quite soul destroying." But yeah, so this girl who's already attractive whinges about not being attractive and then gets made attractive, but it's all this thing. Oh God, it was the hardest thing. And I think I forget
how am I related to that.
I'll get onto it. I was thinking of that, and then
okay,
and then after that I turned it off and
I'm already gorgeous.
How many times have I tried to end this?
I know, but
get on with it.
Or ending the Return of the King.
I think we've done one of these recently. But yeah, so I forget the actress's name. I want to say Jodie something. She's in like. She's in loads. She's in Bullet Train.
Yeah.
She's in something where she the princess or the princess.
Yeah.
She's amazing. Great actress. That was a terrible film. I watched it because she was in it, and I typically enjoy watching her and stuff. Awful. Yeah. But then we turned it off, and I watched Romulus.
Oh, well, what did you think?
Fucking ridiculous at the end. Absolutely brilliant. They did not need everything after the escape.
Yeah. I don't quite know how they would have ended it, but it is a bit of an odd. It's not an odd ending. It's just a little bit more designed ending than I think it possibly needed. But I still really liked it. But I know what you mean. I do know what you mean.
I really enjoyed it. Great theming, great setup, great. Visually, it hit all the right notes. They didn't need the get away from you bitch.
Which made no sense.
The lad who played the android,
Is
never
phenomenal.
seen him in anything before.
Excellent.
Incredible actor.
Yeah, really good.
Brilliant. Really enjoyed him.
He played like
Basically
essentially
plays sort of two roles,
characters, didn't he?
Yeah, really good.
Cool.
And the CGI of the character of that
I wasn't sure.
was fucking awful, and I think has done a disservice to.
So it was a low budget film, wasn't it?
It wasn't.
So I think that's why they
the
went
least of the
with-
budget went
Because
into
it
the
was
CGI.
apparently at one point it was just going to go straight to the telly, wasn't it?
Oh right.
Yeah.
I thought they were making a TV show.
They are.
That's what. Oh, okay.
That's still being made, yeah.
Oh sweet.
Yeah.
I would like to see a sequel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say
Yeah.
that.
There's one getting made.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's been
good.
greenlit. Yeah.
What is it? Is it? I think it's in one of the Alien versus Predator films. Like like the get away from her, you bitch. Like the regurgitation of all these lines.
Yeah.
When they're like, no, get to the chopper, and like a motorcycle gang turn.
Oh
up.
no, that's in The Predator.
Oh, the
which
Predator.
I
Yeah.
hated.
Yeah, awful
Utterly
film.
hated. I had been reviewing it for a podcast that I got up and walked out.
Yeah.
Is that the one where at the end they get the Predator killer armor?
Yeah, that's the one.
So bad.
Yeah, it's awful.
Good actors, good acting, but
such a bad
just
film.
bad
Yeah.
film.
Apologies.
It's a shame as well because I really like the writer-director of that.
Yeah.
I quite like
Yeah.
his stuff, but I thought
Neil Blomkamp is the guy who should be making all.
well,
the
he would have
Alien
got his
films.
he would have got his Alien reboot movie if it wasn't for the fact that Ridley Scott threw his toys out the pram and wanted to make his two, what in my opinion, diabolical Alien prequels.
Neil Blomkamp is an interesting one because he came on to the scene with like District 9, didn't he? Because
Yeah.
that was going to be the Halo film, but then it got cancelled and
Yeah.
they were like, oh, but we've got all these locations, blah, blah, blah. District 9 was incredible.
Yes.
Amazing.
I think
So was Elysium. So was the other one he did.
Elysium wasn't quite as good, but it was
Chappie.
still good.
A lot of things I like
Chappie,
about it.
I really wasn't a fan of.
Loved it.
I need to watch it again because I've only watched it the once.
Yeah, I haven't seen Chappie, but I pretty much I quite like Elysium.
Yeah.
What was the one?
Yeah.
Was it Chappie with Hugh Jackman in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman with a really good mullet.
You know what? I say loved it. Yeah, I say loved it. I didn't love it. I thought it was really good. Like that. I love that he nails it. Like the bit where they got it right in Prometheus for me, which I really like Prometheus, is when. No, I'm jumping.
Which one's
sorry.
Prometheus?
Alien. It's not a Neil
Should we
Blomkamp.
continue this conversation off
'cause I'll
camera?
forget. I want to see whether the audience agrees. But
Okay.
the bit where I realised Prometheus was a good film is when they all turned up and sat in the hangar bay with different sized chairs that they'd pulled from. They looked like they'd pulled from different areas of the ship just so they could all sit together. And it's that level of not having
Like lived in.
Yeah, lived in. It looks lived in and real and raw.
The OG
And
Star Wars trilogy.
there you go.
Yeah.
And that's what you don't get enough anymore in movies, and we've lost it through CGI and through lack of practical effects.
What do you mean Prometheus when you're talking about them sitting on different chairs?
So in Prometheus, oh God. Right.
Which film is Prometheus again?
Prometheus is the
Alien prequel.
Alien prequel.
Yeah.
It's diabolical.
Oh, is it-
Awful.
yeah.
Big
Good,
white
awful.
guy.
Is it the one where it's
Yeah,
like
awful
where you
movie.
go to the Prometheus, the Prometheus school of running away from things?
Yeah.
Because there's that
Because
massive
there's that
circle
thing, yeah.
going in one
Charlize
direction,
Theron,
and
yeah.
they should just.
I'm
go
not going to do it
sideways.
on air, but I
Yeah.
could write 5 sides of A4 in my own blood about how awful that film is.
So I really enjoyed it, but
Good
it's
for
again,
you.
it's about the visual side of it. So again, when they're all like, "Hey, we're going to tell you about like the Neolithic human, and we are actually
Yeah.
from space."
As soon as
they all sit together in the hangar bay, and they all pulled it like
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
So it looks lived in, it looks raw, and
The different sized chairs is the best bit of that film. Anyway, right, I'm done before I get angry.
Yeah. Thanks very much for watching, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye,
Geoff was
everyone.
in the army.
Yeah.